1 out of 25 cops will arrest me, and it's obvious that I get arrested. It's obvious that particular cops are going to arrest me because it's usually the shortest video that I'll have. It's because they don't take long to discuss anything. In fact, I'm arguing that cops in Louisiana, they don't argue, they just arrest. That's it. They just go. If you start arguing, they start arresting.
Yeah.
There's no back and forth in Louisiana. It's just straight to the arrest. They maybe take on this attitude that you could just argue with the judge instead. They won't argue any issues on the streets.
Well, they got a lot more hardened criminals down in Louisiana.
Yeah, that's a
They
concern.
gotta deal with on a daily
And
basis.
it's just incredible, like how that culture develops towards that direction. Yeah, I listen to people in jail, and they talked about gotta get that money. Gotta. There's only one way to get money. You either trade something, whether it's legal or illegal, or you gotta steal it. Either way, you gotta get that money. It's a linear path to getting that money. They can't think of. Then that's how they talk. They talk about hustling in jail. These guys, and they
Nobody
might.
talks about working from 9 to 5 or.
Yeah, and nobody talks about just a roundabout ways of earning money, right? You don't have to be exchanging products or a service for money, exactly, or learning a trade.
Yeah.
Nobody in jail talked about carpentry or a trade like, oh, this is how you fasten this board to this board. There was no discussion of that. There was no, we got to get it.
Easy money.
Yeah, they want the easy money. Yeah, there's that discussion. And it's just, yeah, I heard it from different people talking when I heard conversations. It was straightforward. You either kill somebody, take their money, or you trade something and then they owe you money, and if they don't pay you in time, then you got to kill them and take the money. It's a way of their culture, their culture, the way they think. It's really disturbing, and it's continuing. The younger guy, I'm talking about younger guys talking about this, who are coming up freshly in jail, maybe only a couple of years of jail time in their belts so far, as well as the older guys talking like that, shooting each other and whatever, showing force. You got to show how tough you are.
Cops have to deal with that every day.
Yeah, and it's part of the cops. Even the cops' own thinking as well. They have.
I know someone like you who's respectful isn't looking for, would be willing to work if you had to and all this, The cops,
I come in with a different way of thinking, and this is a stagnant culture I came into. It's not like on the Mexican border where you got border crossers bringing in a new culture, a new way of thinking, different languages. We got the whole South America that has the ability to go cross that border. Everyone from the tip of South America up, down, and coming up. Is potentially could come across that border in Texas, and it's slightly enriching. It changes their perspective on issues. And Louisiana has none of that. Louisiana is it's outside of the the trails or whatever. There's trails that they take. Louisiana's outside of that. It's a stagnant pools of bayous, and they just stay stagnant. No real running water. It's just living in its own ecosystem and kind of eating themselves. And this is after the Indians were living. I mean, we kicked out the French, their Spanish maybe kicked out the Indians or the French, and yeah, they don't see a lot of change. So yeah, me, an outsider, I come in bringing my California ways and thinking.
They still practice voodoo down there in some parts of Louisiana.
There's still what? Practice
Voodoo?
Voodoo? Yeah, the voodoo stuff is interesting. I didn't, you know, I talk about it. I try to make fun of them about it, but there's really not much reference to it down there. I'm not far enough south. In Natchitoches, it's south, but I guess you got to get a little further south for that. They got the Cajun and then something else. Creole. They talk about Creole, just this French Canadian or French way of French style and structure. Um, yeah, it's. I mean, there's slaves. They had plantations, and they talk about the Napoleonic Code, but I think they had more of a slave code that's more recent than the Napoleonic Code.
The French slaves were worse than the English-owned slaves.
The French slaves were worse.
It seems like they were
Slave owners or
slave owners.
yeah. There's some talk. Somebody sent a meme about France offering their prisoners in France to be free if they married a prostitute and moved to Louisiana. I don't know how many took them up on that. That was in the 1700s. That's a different way to approach the criminal system. Just ship them to Louisiana.
Well, Haiti's French, and you know what that country's like.
It's terrible. Yeah.
It's the worst country on the planet of the earth.
Worse?
French owned, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, they compared the hurricane disaster of Haiti to Japan, and you saw like Haiti just broke out in the pandemonium, and Japan, they're getting in lines, in orderly lines, waiting for whatever handouts they needed. Japan maintained this orderly state of nature, this natural. They follow rules and respect each other more in Japan after disasters. When there's a desperation, I guess, disease could break out because the water's polluted or whatever. And Haiti just falls into this violence and crime, and
it's worse than any African country.
Haiti, yeah.
And it's an island luckily it's an island by itself.
Yeah, and that's island politics too. It's unique from continental politics. Cause I'm here, I can't just drive to Haiti. It's like I can just drive here. The only thing that would slow me down would be river crossings.
The Key West would almost take me clear straight there.
The Key West, oh.
It's a chain of islands.
And they got bridges
all the way down to damn near Cuba. There's a bridge from Key West to Cuba.
Yeah.
Chain of islands.
I'd have to look. I know they got bridges that span some distance. You could just make a land bridge if the water's shallow enough. You could just do that. I mean, yeah, that's possible. I actually in Missouri, there's a Somerville or something. There's no bridge across this one river. I drove all the way to the end of this road, and it's a little ferry. Apparently, and it's broke.
Missouri River?
It was in Missouri, and it was a small river. I forget the name of the river. People love canoeing down the river, but they have some ferries, and they have at least one ferry, the Acres Ferry in Missouri. It's bridges aren't cheap, I guess. And a lot of the early bridges, they had to charge a toll, like in Keokuk, Illinois or Iowa. Yeah, you got it in Iowa. Yeah. Have you been? You haven't been to Keokuk.
Yeah.
You've been there? The tourist on the river, the little.
I've never been there, but yeah, they still got a ferry, don't they?
They might. I don't know. The bridge used to have they had a sign that said they used to charge a toll. I guess an old bridge, but it's not. Yeah, it's not there. It's only partial bridge now. Yeah.
Well, the Mormons used to go across that bridge from Nauvoo over to Keokuk over to.
For to save their own lives.
Yeah. Well,
right.
They used to live in Keokuk, the Mormons.
Yeah. Yep.
It's still almost all
Just,
Mormon.
just because they're trying to protect their own lives.
That's why they charge
Right?
the toll, because of the Mormons would
Yeah.
cross that bridge.
Yeah.
They were just on the other side of the river from Keokuk,
Yeah.
Nauvoo.
Yeah. The Mormons, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, because Missouri made it illegal to be a Mormon.
yeah.
You hear? I don't know if you heard that.
That's why they went through Iowa, the southern part of Iowa.
Yeah, the straight whatever the fastest way was to get out of Missouri.
Even though the Mormons say St. Joseph is where the next uh, uprising of Christ or whatever.
Okay.
St. Joseph, Missouri is where he's going to reappear.
It-
Of all places, St. Joseph, Missouri. The Mormons picked that
Okay.
in northwest Missouri. You know where it's at.
I've been there. I've been
Yeah.
there. I had a cop interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. St. Joseph's. Yeah. Huh. It's a rundown old. It was old. They built it up early on, and then it started crumbling, and now they haven't fixed the old buildings.
There's no industry left in
And they keep the house. That's where Jesse James was shot. They have his old house, St. Joseph's, Missouri. What did you say? I'm sorry. What?
There's no industry, and
No.
there used to be along the river, but
That's where I had my worst interaction with a security guard at Walmart. With
outside.
Bronson
Yeah.
Security. I was inside the store, standing,
Oh yeah, I see.
playing with my computer. I noticed it with the first security guard that she was watching me. So I went somewhere else and then really stood and was ready in case somebody was going to. And I stood for like 30 minutes. And one actually finally wanted to find out what my problem was. Standing there, and he thought I was recording the products or something. But yeah, I had a little video in St. Joseph's, Missouri with that. They are tough, and that's the toughest Walmart I've been in. That was like a Walmart for prison. The way they treated me. There's two Walmarts. That was the North Walmart, and then the South one was kind of bad too. But I slept. I think I slept across the street anyway.
You should have showed him what you were recording.
Showed what I was
That
recording.
security guard, he didn't believe you that you were recording stuff, or you should have showed him what you were recording on your tablet or whatever.
Well, I wasn't recording anything though.
Oh,
It was just like looking at a website or something.
Oh.
Maybe responding to YouTube comments from the last video. And then now I have a new video to respond to more comments with. And it just kind of builds on itself. That's why I like uploading for the comments. The money is helpful too, but yeah, to go through the comments, it give a little perspective on things with the criminal issues. But it's just sometimes it gets a little repetitive too, because it's a lot of the same criminal issues over and over again. So sometimes there's a new good perspective that I had never read or heard before. But yeah.
Another drug search of your car. Make them suspicious just so they have to search your car.
Yeah.
With dogs,
Yeah, how can I? Yeah, there's
That'd get a lot of views.
You could teach classes on how to look more suspicious. You make one class, have a class how to look less suspicious, and have another class how to look more suspicious.
Somebody told me if a cop ever stops you, just say, whatever you do, don't look in the trunk.
Yeah. Okay. Don't look over here. Look away for a second. I gotta move something. It's.
Whatever you do, officer, please don't say you have to look in the trunk.
Yeah. Yeah, if you smell something funny, it's probably from the house next door, not from my car. They use marijuana as an excuse to search your car, and it could be like somebody who burnt grass down the street or something.
Yeah.
Have a smell from a particular weed, and they'll use that. Oh, I smell it. It's probably I got to search your car because I smell it, and that's not working now in a lot of states. They're seeing that it's not a strong argument to make.
It's almost legal everywhere now.
And it's just a weed. I mean, this isn't fentanyl. You're a drug counselor, so you understand addictions, how it breaks down the family and stuff. But yeah, the addictions. Some things are more addictive than others. some things, and it's usually extracts. If there's a chemical extraction as a part of the process, then it's gonna be more likely to be problematic and addictive.
Oh, man-made synthetic. You mean?
Yeah, if there's a chemical extraction, I don't know, a synthetic. There's probably chemicals used for that too, right? So, like I heard that 75% of medications are from plant extracts. So then I guess the 25% would be synthetics or whatever, petroleum-based, whatever. So, but they're still extracting, and it's not all mechanical extraction. I trust mechanical extraction, okay, but when it gets to chemical extraction, then they're going too far. All right, using solvents to extract, like they'll do it, for sugar, corn syrup, whatever, like stuff like that. If they have to use a chemical, because that wastes a lot of the plant product, and you're just left with this small ingredient, a part of this whole plant. And from corn, you could eat the whole corn. Instead people are consuming just that small chemical extraction, and that should be a part of the drug counseling too. People should be coming in who are obese. Wait, how do you think people get fat? Do you study this at all? You're not really. Do you have an opinion at all on how people have
I'm type 1 diabetic.
Is that why you had that thing on your stomach?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a sensor.
Man, that's terrible. Are you type 1?
Yeah.
You were born with it.
It runs in my family.
So it was as a child, ever since
No,
you're.
I just was diagnosed 6 years ago.
So you're type B. You'd be type B if it's recent.
No, I take insulin.
But I mean, people are born with it, or you develop it over time. So
It runs in the family.
But you're prone to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's like alcohol and sugar are very similar chemically. There's only like one little thing that's different between them. Sugar breaks down into alcohol. So if you have people who have problems with alcohol, or you could have people who don't drink alcohol but still get the fatty liver and all the same problems of alcoholism, it could be because they're consuming a lot of sugar extracts. And you do both. It's you give in to those pleasures a lot. It's going to cause problems.
I'm not overweight, but none of my
Well,
family
yeah,
is.
that's the thing. There's people who can have problems with sugar and not get obese.
Yeah, it runs in the family. If you're overweight, chances are it doesn't run in your family.
It does.
You got it.
Either way, there's no way of surviving just on sugar alone, just the sugar extracts. They say yeast can't even survive on sugar extracts, corn syrup, because there's nothing for vitamins or anything to help aid in digesting. So yeah, and yeah, you're saying, okay, so you would make the argument probably that this sugar stuff doesn't make everybody fat, but because you're living proof, you don't carry on the extra pounds like a lot of other people.
Well,
Yeah,
diabetes is going to be a major problem here in the next 5 years.
it's getting worse and worse and worse. I believe it started in the early '80s when Coca-Cola switched from cane sugar to corn syrup.
Yeah.
And that's when Warren Buffett made his killing. Is from that switch. Yeah.
It's going to be a health crisis
It is.
in 5 years.
You think it'll get worse? You think it's just getting worse?
Oh, it's not going to get better.
Yeah.
I've been to the grocery store.
It's
We
not
got
gonna-
2 miles of cereal, just nothing but cereal, sugar cereal.
Sure. Yeah. And people are giving in to their pleasures with that. They're saying, I don't care anymore. I can't figure out why I'm getting obese or having these health problems, and just giving in because it's forced upon us in the grocery stores. It's not forced upon us on the farms. Only the grocery stores. because that's where they make their money, is through these addictive sugar loaded products.
Yeah.
You can't find a single piece of bread without sugar added to it. All right, so I don't eat bread. I turn to shredded wheat. They don't add sugar to shredded wheat,
No.
so I'll do that.
Well, carbs. Some carbs are almost as bad as sugar.
Well, nah, I don't know. It's like, what carbs? Like
Bread, carbs.
whole foods.
Well, bread is the most non-nutritional food.
Okay, bread. The wheat seed is mechanically extracted into three parts. The germ, and then the chaff, the bran, and then the main part, that's the gluten. They got all that gluten.
They take all that away.
They take a little seed and they can turn it into three pieces. One little seed into three pieces, and then the white bread has the germ and the bran taken out, and it's just it's the perfectly white, full of gluten type of bread, and yeah, that was the perfection that the early industries in the early 1900s, they were striving for, this perfect white looking type of food that's you could identify the ingredients, because foods that are more whole they're a little too wild for the civilized society, right?
They're more expensive.
And yeah, and they can rot easier, and
Whole wheat bread is a lot more expensive than just plain bread.
yeah, because maybe you got to watch it. You got to watch the process a little closer, because it could go. It's easier to control the making of perfect white bread, because all the ingredients are easy to I don't know, to keep track of, to measure something. Yeah. And like your cigarettes, they probably have a nicotine extract put in, like mixed, like they probably have a solution of nicotine.
Ammonia increases the nicotine. They add ammonia to tobacco.
Ammonia, and then but like nicotine, an extract of nicotine. I mean, people could chew nicotine gum, and that's an extract.
Yeah.
And I think they put it in cigarettes too. Because the tobacco may not be a strong enough hit the leaf might not be a strong enough hit by itself, so they'll add an extract to it. Like if they do menthol, they have a solution of menthol, and they'll put that in with the leaves, and it's an extract, and yeah, so it has a strong, extracts have a stronger effect, because it's more concentrated. Yeah, and that's what's happening with a lot of these drugs.
I'm still smart enough to not even try any opiates.
Well,
It just takes one tablet.
yeah.
I never had a drug problem.
Oh, well, how did you become a counselor then? What was
It's just 2 blocks from where I live. And
it's easy commute.
I had a drinking problem for 5 years.
5?
I went 30 years without even drinking at all. So
you started it up. Just what was the turning point there? What was?
I had, you're getting old. You have to have surgeries. You have to deal with pain when you get older.
Yeah, what kind of pain? Like back pain?
Shoulder, knee.
Just general.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got knee pain.
And I turned to alcohol because I wasn't going to try opiates.
Okay. So it was something where you wanted the easy solution, so you went to alcohol. You didn't just start going to bars to party.
No.
You were just drinking at home for the pain.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Was it the distilled spirits, or was it just beer? Was it vodka?
There was some hard stuff.
The hard. Okay, you went straight to the hard stuff, right?
Well, most of the time it was beer.
Oh, okay, all right. But that's a little more natural, right?
I have a high tolerance for alcohol.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got a low tolerance, but I don't know. I just can't. I don't do good with alcohol.
I can't. I can't. I've tried smoking pot once, and I had panic attacks.
Pa- Panic. Oh, yeah. It depends on the type, maybe the type of marijuana.
So I never tried it again. And then come to find out, where we got the pot was laced with angel dust.
Yep. A lot of that. Yeah.
Nowadays, you can buy it at the dispensary, and you know what you're buying nowadays.
Yeah. You can trust. You can trust. They got a seal of approval.
I still won't smoke it though, because I still had panic attacks when I just can't handle this stuff. I know I'm a lightweight.
Yeah. Yeah. Lightweight with marijuana.
Yeah. I just had. Some people get real paranoid. They just like. I didn't enjoy the high because I got real paranoid. I tried it once, and it's not worth it.
Yeah. Huh. Once, only once, with the laced version, right? Yeah. Yeah, those drug dealers, they just, when it's off of the streets, you can't trust them at all. You gotta like find out the background of that production. Why they gotta lace it? Yeah, it's almost like they're pulling a practical joke on you. It's more of a joke than anything. They do it to amuse themselves. They want to get you on it so then they can watch you act crazy, right? Did you do it with friends, or
Yeah, I did.
you trust them? You still hang out with those people?
Well, the friends didn't know what we were buying.
The friends didn't even know?
No. Well, you can buy it.
Because you'd think the drug dealer would want a good reputation on the streets.
Well, they're lacing these opiates with fentanyl.
Opiate.
Not telling people.
Well, it sounds like almost the same thing anyway,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
And that's 10 times more dangerous than angel does. Fentanyl's 10 times more dangerous than angel does.
yeah. And who's lacing? You're not saying on the streets they're lacing.
The opiates, yeah.
Yeah, the opiates?
The pills, the Mexican cartels are lacing the opiates with fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Okay. So it's a cheaper alternative, and it kills the pain just like opiates. So
Can you believe the Chinese are supplying the Mexicans with the ingredients to make fentanyl?
yeah, there's a relationship there. Yeah, certainly.
I don't know why our government isn't.
They're trying-
investigating that. You know?
They're trying to make Chinese look good, but by showing, I don't know, stories about Chinese helping Africans in Africa rebuild bridges or industry or something. And yeah, there's also the black market in China. They're building up they're not just building up the ones that look good to the media, the public. They're also building up other markets as well. Yeah, there could be a relationship. Some Chinese that only speak Spanish as their second language.
I always wonder why the Native American immigrated, went all the way around China back 10,000 years ago.
Yeah, through Mongolia.
Up through Siberia. The Chinese kicked them out, basically.
You think so? I don't know. I know China's been able to. Well, they claim they can document thousands of years ago.
The Chinese didn't want outsiders, foreigners, anybody that looked different.
They did, yeah, they did that. The Great Wall of China, yeah, they blocked people off. Yeah, that's.
I just kind of wonder about. I always think about that.
Yeah, there's some culture. It's kind of like Louisiana in a way. It's just they do it differently.
They took the land bridge, went all the way around China, took the land bridge, and then came here. But
yeah,
because China chased them out.
Yeah, imagine before humans came here too. There's mastodons and giant sloths roaming the country. I mean,
they said, well, the Ice Age, they say killed those off, but I kind of wonder if maybe man.
I think man did. A man did a lot too. And I think the saber-toothed tiger probably needed those long teeth to sink into the thick skins of the bigger animals.
Because you notice Africa hasn't killed off all their.
Yeah, in Asia animals. They got elephants.
But why did ours disappear?
Yeah, exactly.
As a man,
Yeah, those elephants would be here. Were here, but we killed them. I mean, there's the perfect. This environment would have been fine enough for them to survive. but they had too many predators.
Africa has learned to
They're, well,
dwell with their land, you know, to
well,
leave them, to appreciate their land animals.
yeah, they just haven't developed fast enough either, and yeah, there's a different focus there for sure. It's strange to think how Native Americans could have killed off a lot of these big wild game
Yeah.
animals. But if you read old stories about how savage they were to even each other, I read this one story that's been getting a lot of views lately, and I read it in 2016 about how the Huron tortured a Iroquois guy. Just this, they spent the whole night torture. This whole village spent the whole night torturing a guy, eventually ending up cutting his head off.
Yeah, you read about the Old West, and the Indians were just savage.
Yeah.
They tortured it. They never just killed it. They had to torture some.
Yeah.
Everybody they killed, they had to torture them.
So yeah, I wonder if like if they were real savage against the animals too before that. We're savage against a lot of the wild animals when our Europeans arrived too, though. But then yeah, you compare us to Asia, and they're in India. They're still coexisting with cougars or wild elephants, and they're not trying to just they're trying to maintain a symbiosis there.
Yeah, they appreciate their wildlife.
Yeah, it's like we had a parrot in this country. There was a parrot, just like any other tropical country, I guess. A parrot that I think even maybe flew into these parts of the country, and they were killed off because they were eating the farmer's seed. The farmers were getting tired of losing seed to these parrots, so the parrots don't exist anymore.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's something about the savagery and extinction, savagery by humans.
I'm not prejudiced against Indians, but I'm just saying, why did they have to be so against each other? They had to have all these different tribes, but they were all the same race of people.
Yeah.
But they had to have all separate tribes.
Yeah.
They just were they trying to be
they're
individualists or what, you know?
They're kidnapping. Well, their marriage or interrelations involve kidnappings more than agreed upon unions. They had less. They may have. I don't know how it worked. I'm just guessing. Did they have more agreed upon unions or more kidnappings to interbreed the tribes?
They just couldn't get along with each other or something.
A lot, yeah.
And they're the same race of people. They just couldn't.
What's strange to me is seeing Indians today. If you go to South America or South Dakota, and I don't know, Spearfish, just a lot of the cities, South Dakota, where there's a lot of Indians. Man, there's a lot. When you see there's larger Indian populations in a city, you'll see more people sitting around parks drinking alcohol,
Alcoholics, yeah.
passed out in the parks. And it's a common sight. People won't call the cops when they see somebody passed out in the park. Well, actually, they do call the cops sometimes. I saw one incident, but it happens a lot more in these higher Indian populations where there's a drinking problem, stumbling all over the sidewalks and carrying open containers of alcohol. They give in.
And you know they got money with the reservation.
You would have your job cut out for you. Living on where there's a larger Indian population, larger Native American, whatever.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's much hope for them. But
yeah, it's they
just don't.
There's something about not having the willpower to just stop.
Yeah.
They need to have some kind of motivation. It's been going on for hundreds of years, and it continues on. You could tour it any day of the week. In the right city where you see
they're so used to living in prehistoric times.
Yeah.
They're not used to the modern age. It's developing too fast for them. I think technology is advancing too. There's that idea.
Yeah, there's been Indian schools, or they've I don't know, maybe there's Indian schools today that they're so special that they have these fences around the school and a security guard to check people coming in and out of the school.
Yeah.
Just primarily for Indian schools. There's one north of Salem, Oregon, and it's unique. They're trying to do intensive work with Indians. I walked around this Indian college. There's a college and there's a separate Indian section just for Native Americans, and they had these signs. They had, even after COVID, they still had signs that said, "Please wear your mask for COVID." On this, but that was like a year or two ago, and it's surprising to me that.
I don't know if they have more Neanderthal DNA.
Oh, and yeah, the Neanderthals got killed out or something.
Well, you know, the Neanderthals.
Yeah, yeah. There's
The Homo sapiens bred with most of the Europeans first, but then
yeah.
a lot of the Siberian Mongoloids, they didn't advance to that. The sapiens didn't breed with the Neanderthals until later on. Some areas not at all.
You believe that AIDS started with an African guy having a little fun with the monkey? You ever hear that one?
That's how Ebola started. Well, they used to eat monkeys.
Yeah,
eat monkeys.
Well, I mean, but they actually have like real intimate relationships with the primates, because that's how how AIDS was primarily spread. Still today is not through eating the other. It's well, I guess if you get a blood transfusion too, but it's just primarily through
herpes is from cats.
From what?
Cats.
Cats? Herpes?
The herpes virus is from cats. So I don't know if somebody ate a cat or something. I don't know how people developed it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I read like smallpox. The milkmaids were immune to smallpox. They were able to deal with the smallpox with their immunity because of cowpox. Cowpox is a lesser strain that didn't affect humans as much. So they got inoculated through cowpox against smallpox. Diseases. There's some scary ones out there.
Well, the COVID's from bats, ain't it?
They're
still trying to prove that.
The Chinese flu, I guess, or
there's just too many people in the world.
Yeah.
We're gonna have plagues and disease.
Yeah, they're not gonna stop. They're constantly transforming.
The Black Plague. Can you imagine if there wasn't a Black Plague, what the population of the world would be like now?
Was the Black Plague really that? Was it really all just Black Plague or other factors? I mean, could there have been a famine at the time too, or an environmental change too?
Yeah, there could have been.
I don't know. I don't know the full details of it. All I know is that this they call it the Black Plague. It's the period of the Black Plague, but really, was it all the Black Plague? I mean, it's hard to tell because there's really nothing else to compare it to.
Yeah.
I mean, the COVID is no comparison to me. It doesn't because
you can live with it.
Yeah, there's 90-year-old people surviving COVID.
I've had both of my booster shots.
You did get shots.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's I didn't get any. Whatever.
Well, you're not around people.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, just stay away from people. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got to be around with my job. I got to be around people.
Sick people, too.
Yeah.
People who are in a weakened state, so they're carrying more disease, right? They're having trouble. They're having trouble getting rid of the disease. Like, older people. Like there's older people who take longer to recover. So yeah, you got to be careful of that. Don't let them sneeze on you or bleed on you. Yeah, but you don't have to make physical contact with them, right? You just you're talking. Your therapy is, or your counseling is just communication. That's it. There's nothing. You don't have to do any. You don't have to do any heavy lifting, right?
Well, I did as a truck driver for 30 years.
You would unload and load the trucks too?
Some of them you did.
Yeah, to get out of there faster, you would have to.
Instead of dealing with lumpers.
Lump?
Sometimes you just unload it yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Lumpers are expensive. The cheapest lumper you'll find is you'll spend at least a truck driver will spend at least $100 to get his truck unloaded with a lumper.
A lumper, that's a special equipment.
It's some guys that stand around that unload your truck for you.
Yeah. Or just, yeah, if it's at Walmart, it'd be an employee or two that would come in and...
That's a union. Walmart, we didn't have to deal with luckily, but
Lumpers.
because that's a union. But
Well, just any store, I don't know. It's
yeah,
the back of a, whatever, the back of a gas station, you deliver to a gas station. I don't know.
80% of the time I didn't have to unload. But
Yeah. Yeah, you're
I didn't have to. I could just sit in my truck and wait for him.
okay. Yeah, truck driving. I tried to get into truck driving. I failed a hearing test. I mean, I could hear what you're saying, but there's a hearing test and I failed it. And that was it. That stopped my ambitions for being a truck driver. I was gonna go through some free training in Aberdeen, Washington. They were offering veterans free training at the college. You just had to go through some paperwork, and one of the things was getting a medical clearance, and I failed the hearing test. It's a surprise. And I mean, I guess I could have bought hearing aids, put those in, and then done the hearing test and passed, I guess, but...
You didn't know you had a hearing problem before you took the test?
Well, I guess I kind of did, but I was in denial.
Oh.
I was told when at 24 I had hearing problems, but I mean I can hear. I just the Air Force, all that whining from the jets and stuff kind of deafened me. But I mean it's a painless medical condition, I guess. But and also I can hear. I mean I guess I barely passed that hearing test to be a truck driver for UPS when I was 24. So I passed and I was able to drive for UPS a little bit until I quit. And then, yeah, later when I got to Washington, I found out about this truck driving thing, and in my 30s, I did the hearing test and failed. So from the point of 24 to my 30s, there's more decline in my hearing, I guess, and it continues. It's always going to decline. I mean, it's, no matter how bad like everybody, I guess all our hearing and our eyesight, it equals out in our 70s. Yeah, there might be some people who are really healthy with hearing and their eyesight, but it all declines to about the same level in our 70s for everybody, I guess. It's somebody's really bad at hearing.
We're not designed to live past 60, really.
Yeah, it's all...
Humans aren't designed to live past...
Yeah, it's no matter how hard... Yeah, it's just...
Now you got people living to be... The average age is 78, damn near 80 years.
Yeah, I can't... Yeah, there's nothing, you can't fight it. There's, people are still trying to look into ways to slow down aging, but so yeah, I'm just trying to feel better while I'm alive. In the moment, just like I was having breathing problems and heart and digestion problems, but it was a lot from like what I'm doing right now, just being hunched over in my car or on my computer. But I'm working on it. So I'm not spending...
Just spread out on a picnic table.
Yeah.
Or just get you to sleep out in a tent at least once a week.
Well, that'd be nice to fall asleep at night on a hard surface, because it's my upper back. My upper back is affecting everything. It's because it's hunched over, and I just need to straighten it out. And I'm actively laying down now by pushing my elbows into the ground, and then pushing my fists into the ground. I'm straightening that out, and things are a lot better. And it got bad when I was using walking sticks, because I was then using walking sticks and tightening up the front, and that's when I really noticed breathing problems. Because I wasn't working my back. I stopped doing picnic table fitness for a while, and just all back exercise, and I was just doing walking sticks. It's like, this is it. This is the answer. Just walking sticks. It's a full body workout. But then I got those problems, and it's very unique. And so I had to stop it because I hate it when I can't breathe. So it took me a while to figure out. And then I realized you got to reverse that. You got to work the opposite muscles more. And it's not.
I try to work every major.
Yeah.
Every other day.
You got to balance it. You got to do balance. And if you walk with walking sticks, you gotta do all the reverse stuff. Yeah, and I was doing walking sticks a lot. So it was fun early on, but then problems developed. I didn't know that would happen, and I had to learn the hard way. So I hope to get back into walking sticks. I like doing them, but it's you got to be careful. Apparently, I didn't know that was a problem. And yeah, now I can breathe again, and yeah, fewer problems with trying to balance all of that.
So you're gonna stay in Wisconsin, you think, or what?
No, I'm gonna just go into Wisconsin. I'm going into Minnesota, and probably come down Wisconsin, and then just when it's.
You gotta go out east.
Well, that'll be like 5 years from now.
Oh.
I'm going up and down.
You probably get tired of getting asked that, huh? If you're going out east.
Yeah, there's people in the east asking if I'm coming out, but I say it's like 4 years away. I say 4 or 5 years away.
You'll love it.
It's just an up and down with the seasons type of thing. This is summertime, I go north. Wintertime, I go south. But in a different city.
Well, the West Coast is just too rich.
Yeah.
Rich of the states, you know.
You can get away with sleeping in your car in some places pretty easily, I think.
Oh, out on the West Coast.
On the West Coast, there's some places they got signs that say no RVs on the side of the road.
You know what I'd do if I was in what town did you say that? Oregon? They give you a $700.
Seaside, Oregon.
I'd be sleeping on the passenger side, and I'd just dare them to.
Nah, you wouldn't get away with it. No, they'd be on.
They couldn't prove there was no driver.
They couldn't prove it that day, but then they watch you, and the next day, eventually they'll come up. They'll hound you enough, and then.
Well, if I stay there long term, I mean, just long enough to.
Yeah, just for a night. I spent a month in Seaside, and I was really sneaky about it. They caught me, but it took them a while. I think somebody had to call me in. I was parking behind the food bank, and I was like next to this I don't know, this equipment, this large equipment thing. It had wheels and there's a lift. I don't know. But I had to be super sneaky in Seaside to stay there, and I didn't really need to stay. I don't know. It was just
trying to be special. They want a single. How can they get away with it? You know, what the rest of the country isn't.
Well, Seaside is kind of special. It's a nice area. It's west of Portland. It's about 40 miles. So you got Portland that they would make trips into Seaside. So it'd be a major city, and this is a city on the coasts. Portland's not on the coast, so it attracts people with money or something. It's kind of a tourist destination. They got some neat things in Seaside that they're for people with money. They want to kick out the homeless people and all that.
It's just that Oregon, and of course, it's just been inundated with homeless people.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, for sure. Last year they in Portland for like a couple of days it got up to 120 degrees.
Yeah.
That was a surprise how that could happen. Usually it's a stable temperature.
I've been to Portland. I've been to Seattle.
Yeah, Portland. It's hard for me to find. It was hard for me to find parking around Portland, so I didn't really see much of it. I found this one place I could park like 3 miles outside of the city center, on the west side.
Suburb.
It was a park. I parked at a park. Up on top of the hill, because there's a hill. I came down on bicycle to the city center, and I stopped at a McDonald's to use the Wi-Fi. And that was back in like 2015, back when the Wi-Fi used to be good at McDonald's,
Yeah.
but it's horrible now. And I didn't lock my bicycle. I just kind of had it parked outside of McDonald's, and I spent about 15, 20 minutes in McDonald's, and then I went back to my bicycle, and there was a guy there, and he said, I was going to steal it. He's straight up. He said, I would have stole it. And I said, I'm too quick for you. And he's
I say it's unlocked. There it is. Try it. Go for it.
yeah, it was just a $100 bicycle from Walmart or Fred Meyer's, if you know that. But, yeah, it's...
See how far you can get with it.
See how far... Well... He could have maybe stuck around the corner, and that would have been it. You know, he could have. He could, you know, he could have taken the bicycle. It's
at least he was on.
They're
going to admit they're going to steal somebody's bike.
well, they do. They steal a lot of bicycles
They
around there.
admit it too?
What?
They admit that they stole it.
He was a rare one to admit it, and I believe he's stolen bicycles in the past. And I've seen stolen bicycles dismantled piece by piece.
So yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They
even the ones
take all the frames and stuff, and take all the parts and take the frames to one area, and just dump them there. I don't know what the deal is there.
Yeah, I don't know how mechanically inclined they are. If they're really good at making bicycles ride nice after they dismantle them. But yeah, I've seen hybrid bicycles. This one homeless-looking young guy, he come up to me with this hybrid-looking bicycle. It didn't look like it was the original parts for the bicycle. It looked like just different parts from different bicycles. He rode up to me on, and I don't know. I talked about his bicycle a little bit, about how weird it looked. Yeah. Bicycles are stolen everywhere. But as soon as a thief grabs yours, they'll probably think, they'll have second thoughts about that one. They'll think, oh, it looks nice, the paint job looks nice, it says Schwinn. You just pick it up and you'd be like, oh, that's a little heavy. I don't know if anybody would want to really take yours.
Did you see that bike prank video where they had electrocuted the bike?
Yeah. We watch a lot of the same videos. Okay. Yeah.
They had it hooked up to an electric source.
Yeah.
And they were just daring somebody to steal their. And when they did, that was fun.
Those are old videos too. I'm waiting for new videos, and they seem to like have stopped. Maybe it was just like maybe they got some warnings about that.
Too many people are getting hurt or something.
Yeah, because they could do that daily. They could do that weekly, and still get a lot of views. But there might be a liability issue.
Have you seen this guy? I don't know how he's getting away with it. He's going around with his phone. This black guy, he's got a channel. He's got like almost 1 million subscribers. He's going around making comments to people in stores, and then he says, "Oh, I'm on the phone."
Yeah. Okay.
And
it's short-lived fame. I think it's risky. It's offensively risky. I couldn't stand being pranked like that. As a victim of that, I would almost be inclined to complain about. If I was on that video, I'd be almost inclined to complain about that. If I was on the video.
I don't know how YouTube's encouraging or.
No, I doubt YouTube's encouraging it. No,
don't they screen? Does YouTube go through everybody's video?
No, it's just bots. You know about there's bots on the channel. You just when it's too small, they can't have people visually. No, they do bots. Yeah, I don't know what they look for. They listen for words. They listen for anything offensive. You talk about the certain religions and groups. Talk about guns. I guess if you have a lot of words associated with
keywords.
Yeah, if there's a lot of if you.
When I do start my channel, that's how you get a good channel, is the keyword,
the
title.
Is that how my channel grew, is keywords?
Well, I mean, that word of mouth, you've had it for a long time, but I mean...
You got to do some animal rescues or cop
I
interactions.
took social media in college.
What?
So
What year was that?
Well,
What,
I,
what
I
year?
took an online social media.
What year?
I was older.
What
It
year?
was about 15 years ago.
15? Huh.
And they said the key is the keywords,
Yeah.
because as soon as you type in a keyword, that's going to make that automatically make that suggestion to, go straight to
It
that channel.
used to be keywords for sure. Yeah. Google
If
used
you got a catchy title,
Google's changed their system since then.
if you got a catchy title, a word somebody uses,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, a nice thumbnail. You want to make a thumbnail that gets people's attention.
oh, like hobo, that's instantly going to draw.
Ah, I don't know. It's
The
what draws your attention.
Well, the bot's going to use that keyword to automatically.
You got it. Yeah. Social media 15 years ago. YouTube. Yeah, it's. Yeah, there was no Twitter. I don't. Oh well, Twitter just started, I suppose, when you took your class. Instagram was new. They probably weren't in place.
I had to do a research paper on a new app, and apps were just coming out, and I did three or
Square.
something square, where you go to restaurants and you get like a medal on the app. It was an app that just came out, 2Square or something, like Foursquare.
Oh,
Foursquare,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's still, yeah. I don't use that at all. But
Well, they were going to do away with it. It was supposed to be 10 years ago,
yeah,
and I'm surprised it's still around.
yeah, like Winamp. You know Winamp?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's still around. There's certain old classic programs. Yeah, that's a social media one. Yeah, the social media before 15 years ago was like Yahoo Chat or
They didn't have
they,
TikTok or Instagram.
yeah, no,
Not even
definitely no.
Instagram was
Yeah,
there.
TikTok is something that's got quite an algorithm too. You can take advantage. You can really grow on that one if you have the right. That's more, I think, more content based. They actually can get if you have good content, they can get that out to more people easier than the way the system was set up 15 years ago.
Have you thought about short videos? These short videos?
Yeah, I know about those. Yeah, I don't know how to do that effectively though. Short videos, yeah, because you gotta hold. I always hold the camera sideways, okay, but you gotta hold the camera vertically.
Oh, do you?
Well, yeah, 'cause it's a scroll action, so you gotta record. I've been practicing sideways all the time, and for those
Oh,
TikTok,
the short ones.
the shorts are the scroll ones.
Yeah.
The TikTok and the YouTube shorts, and, and yeah, and even Instagram too has the scroll. So I'm always recording this way, and so I would have to figure out, like, I was thinking I should have a separate phone for the if I were to do something, have it vertical, like when I'm recording cops. I have two phones now. I was thinking, if I have one cop here and there's a second cop, then I can pull out the second phone, record them, and then I'll be like this. But maybe I should be trying to do a TikTok too.
Yeah.
Like I'll have a phone to record for TikTok as I'm recording for YouTube. Just I only got two hands, so.
I'm too old to even figure some of that stuff out.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
I don't have a chit chat. I don't have a TikTok or whatever.
Yeah, it's youth. Yeah, if you were younger, you would have gotten into it more. I tell my grandma, it was years ago now. I was like, I told her she would have gotten into Facebook if she was younger. She's like, nah, I wouldn't have done that. I don't think so. I think she would have. It would have naturally.
I know a lot of 70 and 80-year-olds on Yahoo or on Facebook.
Yeah, some are interested in using the technologies. It's just it depends on their background and their perspectives.
And then
It
I know
really,
some 20 and 30-year-olds that don't want nothing to do with it.
really?
Yeah,
None?
not Facebook.
Well, not Facebook, but then they'll do Snapchat or some other platform instead. They're like, I don't like Facebook, but I use this alternates. I use,
Yeah, they'll do Twitter,
yeah, I'll do
but
or
not Facebook.
Twitter
But not Facebook.
or there's one, yeah, there's I'll do, I don't know, Twitch chat or there's a few other ones. It's not, I won't do internet entirely. I won't, they'll pick and choose their preferred social media. The young, I think, right? You're saying there's 20-year-olds that completely reject.
They'll do Twitter, but that's about it.
They don't completely reject all social media, right? They're just
No,
there's just a pick and choose because we have the choice.
there's just too many stalkers and predators on
Oh,
Facebook.
Facebook, yeah, yeah. There's, I mean, yeah. There's women who can promote themselves, young women who have marketability on platforms, and they know that they'll there's some women that know that they'll get a lot of attention really quick, so they got to pick and choose how they promote themselves. Not like me. I don't have that problem. I won't get all these, these stockings or whatever. It's a different approach for me, compared to, yeah, for some people. Some people, yeah, can't handle certain attention. So,
This new viral video, that girl in the gym with
yeah,
the trainer in the back, and she says, and it says he's a pervert because he's looking at her in the gym. It's viral. It's like
yeah,
10 million, man. I
I'm,
was sticking up for the girl because
yeah,
I got a daughter,
okay.
and I don't want someone staring at her in the gym.
It's yeah,
And everybody was sticking up for him.
for him. Oh, yeah, okay. But there's yeah, the attention, how people give attention. There's people who like to make videos about voyeurism. They'll just try to take advantage of somebody not looking, and then take a picture of them, and
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
Nobody wants to disagree. They just want to go with the crowd on comments
Yeah,
and
well,
agree with the
I'd
majority.
have to see what the guy's doing. He's just flat out staring at this girl, or he's just giving her a lot of looks from all parts of the gym. It's
Well, it only, on the shorts, it only shows part of the video.
okay.
You got to get the whole.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was more to the story than what the video. Every video's got more to the story than
yep.
what they want you
Yeah,
to see.
yeah, and exactly. That's why I got convicted. I got convicted because of what they say happened before I started recording.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just the record. There's more to it than just getting illegally arrested. There was also all my activity that led to the illegal arrest. They don't dispute what they did on video.
If they have any questions about something like that, all they got to do is call the library.
Well,
If they don't believe you.
it's all on the librarians interviewed on the video. I have two videos, each two 20-minute videos from both librarians. They talk about everything that happened
Later on.
4 days after I was released from jail, after I posted all the arrest videos. Then the librarians went into the police station and talked about what happened before I recorded. So they wanted to get that documented. And whoever gave that order, probably like the prosecutor, the cop said he wanted to cover his bases. But yeah, there's always more context that can be added, and it can be pretty loose if it's not caught in the moment. And I can't always record. I mean, I didn't even think to record walking into the library. Most libraries I walk into, I never record.
You don't know there's going to be a confrontation.
Yeah, I never.
You can't predict something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I could, with them, I couldn't tell. I didn't see anything coming. All I saw was the cops pulling up in the parking lot. I can see it through the window, and I'm thinking something's going down, and I better get myself ready in case if it's me who's the one they're targeting. So I had three cameras.
They were just being bullies.
And you know what bothers me is I didn't correct my lawyer enough on how this scenario started, because he made the argument in my writs that I was setting up my cameras. I went to the library to set up my cameras. I told him we got to change that and say that I was not setting up. I didn't plan to use my cameras. So he changed it, and I said charging my cameras. And now I have regrets about that, because I don't want to make it look like I just walked into the library charging my cameras, because that almost sounds like I'm setting up my cameras. And really, my cameras are this. One camera was a phone, the other camera was a computer, and then the other third camera was actually a camera, the GoPro. So I wasn't really setting up, I wasn't really even charging my cameras, I was charging my computers. And I wish, and it's already, this writ's already been submitted.
Some librarians haven't dealt with homeless people.
Well, they said they did in the trial. If you read the trial transcripts, she said that she's dealt with it. She said she saw me a year ago. She thought she saw me a year ago, so.
They're not familiar with homeless and
Yeah.
it's all new to their.
Yeah, down there they
What homeless have to go through.
there's different sensitivities to homeless activity. Like if this park was in the middle of San Francisco, it'd be overrun with homeless people right now. It's the location of certain certain properties, or yeah. There's this is amazing. It's just been us two the whole time.
I don't know if the library was closed for 3 days because of the holiday. You got to check.
Oh, yeah, well, they're definitely going to be closed on Monday.
I don't know. Sometimes they take a 3-day. The next library you go to, you might want to check ahead of time. They might be closed for 3 days. Well,
closed the whole weekend.
Yeah.
They got super short hours on the weekends, but they're actually open on Sunday, 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. That's amazing. I mean, I have the option to use it tomorrow, possibly. I think most libraries I've been stopping at have been like, we're closed on July 4th. They didn't say they're closed for the whole weekend, but this is a library that's actually open on Sunday.
I know New Year's, everything was closed for 4 days.
Oh yeah, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving. That's the time of year that
the 3 days previous of New Year's was closed.
Yep. Yeah.
For 4 days,
Yeah, that's tough for me in the middle of winter. And these organizations are closed, and these libraries are closed. I have to plan ahead, like for batteries and just water, bathrooms. I'm thinking, I just want to find a good spot where in the weather I got to prepare. Is it going to be, how cold is it going to be? All of that, yeah. That the holidays during that time is difficult for me, just with all those well, it used to be, but I can handle it more. But I mean, in the wintertime, even though these bathrooms are closed, in the wintertime more bathrooms are closed in parks. They close down. Sometimes they'll even stack the picnic tables on top of each other. I mean, it's difficult far in the north, in the mid country, in the winter time, because they close down the parks. No, they just shut off the running water, lock up the bathrooms.
The water will freeze up.
Yeah. So that's what partly drives me south. That's why I got into Louisiana as I'm going up and down. That's why I go so far south too, is because they close down parks in the north, and parks in the south. A lot of them will stay open because it doesn't freeze, and I take advantage of that. But I get into dangerous territory too. It's but during COVID, everything was closed. I was pooping in plastic bags for a while. There was even though it was warm out, they had to close the bathrooms for COVID. Shut off the water for COVID. They shut off the water at Walmarts, all the stores.
Yeah, the water fountains everywhere.
Yeah, they and then yeah, no, like pretty much no use of the bathrooms. Couldn't even consider the hospitals as an. Sometimes I'd sneak into the emergency room and have an emergency, and that got shut down after COVID. A lot of my options, yeah, the McDonald's, all the fast food restaurants shut down. Those used to be options for me. I would mark them on the map. When I go into a big city and I wanted to bicycle around, I'd mark the libraries and the fast food restaurants. And then the COVID hits, and then they all got shut down. So I had to stay away from the big cities in my travels and my bicycling adventures. That was frustrating. Um, but yeah, I don't. You go on bicycle adventures too yourself then, right? Or you stay in the area still?
I just around here. I've never been on this trail.
You never? Okay. Yeah. You ever just go to a city and just park and then bicycle around?
Well, you're the main reason why I decided.
Yeah.
I was looking for a bike rack. I was thinking a bike, so I didn't have to waste gas looking for a place to park.
Yeah. You definitely want to lock your bicycle to your car. I use 3 locks on my bicycle. I've gotten 4 bicycles stolen. So, and one was actually stolen right off the back of my car, in Phoenix, in a library, the library parking lot. During the daytime, in the morning, somebody cut all the straps and took the whole thing, this rack and the bicycle, right there. And there's cameras in the parking lots and I asked the security guards, and they said their cameras weren't pointed where my car was. So, but that got me where I have a cable, and it's connected to my car, and then cable's connected to the bicycle rack, and I got a lock. So now if they want to cut all the straps, they got to deal with that cable too. So I have the rack locked to my bicycle. That's a 4th lock, and then 3 locks locking my bicycle to the rack, just for extra protection there. It's all U-locks. I don't know what kind of lock you use.
Just a cheapie.
Is it?
Chain.
Yeah. Okay. I've grown to like the U-locks. They're pretty easy to work. They're easier to work with for me because the chain is dangling or the cord is springing all over. The U-lock is stable. You just slam it in.
You don't worry about losing the key or?
Yeah, I've lost keys in the past. Yeah.
For a U-lock, you'd be sunk if you lost the key to that.
I've broken a U-lock. I lost a key and had to break.
Bolt cutters or what?
I used a file, and I just 15 minutes. Took me 15 minutes to get through it.
Oh.
It slows you down, but it doesn't stop you. It's a medium security U-lock. So yeah, you just file away and eventually you get through it. So
combinations are a little. I lose keys too easy. Combinations are.
You do? Okay.
I can write down a combination anywhere.
Yeah, I've lost my car key a couple of times. It's been scary for me.
I was thinking about getting even a tattoo of a combination.
Yeah.
Or a password.
I need.
4-digit pin. You can get a. I don't have you can get a tattoo, so you don't.
I need a tattoo of my credit card numbers for when I get thrown in jail.
Yeah.
My credit card numbers and a phone number. I need to tattoo that on my skin, so I'm ready. So sometimes I'll go in with nothing, absolutely nothing, and.
It's supposed to start raining Sunday night.
It's supposed to, yeah. Oh, and you're in the shade. Are you losing? I think the shade is going. Is the shade going? Yeah, I think the shade is going this way. So, yeah.
It's supposed to rain in Iowa all next week.
Oh, next week, yeah.
It's supposed to get damn near 100.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. Yeah, I'm moving north. Oh, there's this. Check out this person here. They came through yesterday. Yeah, the Unitire. They're doing it again. They got quite a uniform too. The
Yeah,
unit.
100 degrees out this morning.
Yeah, it's or he or she. I don't know. Could be probably a guy. I don't. You know, that's like the hoverboards from the Back to the Future movie or something. People are demanding those,
Yeah.
and this is the best that they could come up with is these gyrometer unitire things.
You wouldn't see something like that here in Louisiana.
I never did. No, I don't recall. No, no, it's pretty rare. They're not cheap. You don't. Yeah, I didn't travel around Louisiana enough to be able to actually to say that it doesn't exist. I stayed in Natchitoches for a few months just and I was just back and forth in the library researching Louisiana law, arguing with the trolls, making videos about my case. I would have rather not have talked about all this legal stuff. I would have rather explored Louisiana and taken it in more. But now I don't want to step another foot in there if I can avoid it.
Well, you know,
But,
it's a poor state, for one thing. It's probably the poorest
well,
state in the country.
I know there's a
And
video.
they have a hard time getting funds.
Yeah,
And you're going to make money writing tickets
yeah.
and fining people. You're going to, that's about the only way they can make money, you know.
They sound like there's people that are arguing that they make a lot of money from the oil. Like there's some
Well, Texas.
there's industry in Louisiana that doesn't pay their fair share of taxes because the state doesn't ask these big industry. The state is trying to make itself a tax haven for big industry, so that they lowered the taxes for big corporations. So the corporations hold on to their money, but I mean I don't know. Is Louisiana a tax haven? I don't know.
I gotta check out this water fountain.
All right.
Nitrates, I don't know if it's cancer causing. Even with the water purification plant
Yeah.
in Iowa, people are getting cancer due to nitrates.
Yeah, I know. I was in Page, Arizona, and there was some kind of coal factory or coal burning energy plant, and I was told that Indian tribes were getting killed because of the pollution from this coal burning energy factory. But for the water, I don't know.
Did you hear about Camp Lejeune out there in North Carolina? The water, the last 3 decades, people are getting cancer,
Cancer from the water?
and they're suing the government.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of bad tasting water out there. I've been to plenty of cities where the water tastes awful.
Well water. There's people in their city that still use well water. You got to stay away from that. But
Some water tastes better than others. Some water tastes worse. This water seems okay to me.
it's city, yeah, it'll taste good.
Cancer is tasteless, right?
Well, Des Moines got a nitrate. It's got the only one in the country nitrate removal system.
Nitrate removal?
But you know, these smaller towns, it's still got farm runoff. You can't filter that. Well, nitrates are much.
Yeah. Farmers have to get permits to run a certain amount of runoff into the rivers, and the DNR has to watch farmers. The DNR loves to pick on people. I've been picked on by DNR twice now, accused of camping. But the harder job is to catch farmers' runoff. That takes a different approach, takes a different type of enforcement. You can't just walk up on a farmer laying on the ground relaxing and accuse them of runoff. You got to do your own research somehow, measuring the river quality in some way, looking for those nitrates. That's the big one, is the nitrates.
It's cancer, yeah.
Yeah, because it encourages growth. and it's not just only muscle growth.
Algae.
It encourages plant growth, but it affects algae too. It affects all nitrates affect anything that can grow. A nitrate can affect, right?
It starves the water of oxygen.
The
So
algae starves the water of oxygen.
Oh, does it?
Isn't that it?
Well, I know nitrates does. That's why there's so much algae.
No, the algae takes away the oxygen and kills off the fish. The fish can't breathe or something.
Yeah, there's more algae than there used to be. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Used to be it'd be hard to find a pond or lake with any algae in it at all, you know.
Yeah, and there's a corn ethanol production plant in Eddyville,
Yeah.
south of here.
Ajinomoto, corn syrup. Ajinomoto is Japanese.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, I stayed just a day there. It's got I think it had a weird smell. I forget.
Yeah.
I described the smell, but I forget what it was now. It was tolerable.
It's an amino acid they make out of corn.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a couple different
It's lysine. I don't know if you know what lysine.
That's like the sugar in the corn or something, or.
Yeah, I think it's amino acid or.
Oh, lysine is amino. Yeah.
Lysine.
Yeah. Yeah, they got something going on in Eddyville there with the corn, so it's a center point for delivering a corn product to that place that they can, because they got pipes and there's just a big operation going on. It's a pretty quiet town though.
It just smells.
It has, yeah.
Most towns won't get away with the smell like that. You'll see a lot of paper mill smells down south in towns. Paper mill.
Yeah, paper mills are. There's a dog food factory in Flagstaff, Arizona. That was, man. There's businesses around that. I was in the Best Buy, and it smelt inside the Best Buy. And I asked the employee what he thought of it, and he's used to it, I guess. It's a little strong for me. Yeah, there's some areas that have the factories that smell bad, but they don't affect me. And there's some that just make me feel sick.
I remember when you were in Knoxville, weren't you? 3M plant?
There's a 3M plant in Minnesota.
And it smells just like burning plastic. Huh?
It was just, I was getting sick. I was just, yeah.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
It's burning plastic.
There's a 3M plant somewhere in Minnesota, and is right next to the Walmart. I tried to sleep. I stayed the night at the Walmart. I think I stayed the full night, and I swore never again. But yeah, I was across the street from the 3M plant in this Walmart, and yeah, that's a toxic area. There's another plant. There's a 3M plant downtown in Hutchinson, Minnesota, downtown. So I could smell it in the library. And it was just a dizzying. I didn't feel right smelling this. So you had to get outside of the downtown. It affects. I don't know how other people think of it or deal with it. I've smelled things that got me sick, and other people are like, don't act like it's a big deal. So I got a sensitivity or something, and I gotta move. And when I sleep in my car and there's a burning smell and I start feeling sick, I just move, go a mile down the road and see how things are. And that's the luxury of having a mobile home. Is this, if there's something that's not right, if people look sketchy, or if there's a toxic smell in the air, I just move to another location. I'm not stuck with bad neighbors or bad chemicals. I've taken in a lot of water from different cities, and there's probably been some that are cancer causing, but it's.
Well, I grew up in East Colorado, and come to find out, during World War II they had an underground toxin, or they dumped a lot of stuff in just outside of Denver, and we had well water.
Yeah.
And my God, 30 years later, I'll probably have leukemia, from all that.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You're feeling okay now, or
Well,
yeah,
they didn't tell people when they were living there. Now they're
yeah. It takes time. You can dilute it somehow. Time dilutes.
they were dumping barrels of DDT underground and out in the ocean.
In the ocean. Yeah, you spread it. You just gotta dilute it. You gotta spread it out, and then it's just so small of a parts. It's so diluted that it really almost is there's not much of an impact left. I think you can dilute. Everything can be diluted over time. I mean, the nuclear waste or chemicals. Just it's about how much you take in at one time. Well, you say over time too. If it just it depends on the amounts over time, I guess. It's like you can take in like certain toxins. There's some people that have built a medicine, homeotherapy. I don't know if you ever heard homeopathy, or if you're feeling sick in a certain way, you take this poison that makes you feel even sicker in a certain way. But I don't know, you take it over time and it's supposed to make you feel better. I don't know. It's so silly. Nobody respects homeopathy really. But you develop a tolerance like snake venom or something. You take in a little bit at a time and get a tolerance in some way.
Oh, bee pollen. Remember when bee pollen was real pollen? You don't hear nothing about that no more.
Bee pollen?
Bee pollen.
Some Walmart sell bee pollen.
That used to be real popular.
It was
10
real.
years ago.
10 years? Oh, yeah. Well, I've tried it and it's just
supposed to cure everything. Bee pollen.
Well, whatever the good parts are, that it always hurts my stomach. So every time I've tried it in all different ways, it's hurting my stomach. So I just gave up on bee pollen. And then I give up on. I got into just drinking honey. I was drinking honey like milk, pretty much, just drinking honey straight out of the container. And now I think I have some kind of digestion problem from that. It's too much honey over time. You don't want to give in to one thing. I've had my moments with that. Just and you don't want to live in one area for too long. You don't want to eat one food for too long. You want to always change it up.
Yeah.
Keep keeping the variety going in different ways. Just to balance out the health, balance out the health of your body, the mind.
We don't want to see you get in trouble at some of these abandoned places.
Yeah.
It was kind of questionable. I didn't want to see you get,
The trouble in abandoned places.
Well, I mean trespassing or anything.
When they're abandoned, there's definitely not going to be a security guard there.
No.
At an abandoned building.
But some anxious, trigger-happy farmer.
Yeah, and then I'd probably catch them off guard, so they probably are not walking around the abandoned property with a gun at the same time I am. There's that. The chances of walking into somebody with a gun on an abandoned property, it's pretty low. I've walked into houses in one house in Colorado where the guy died, and it's just the house was ransacked. But then after it was ransacked from whoever, it was just left in its state of being.
Yeah, I seen a trailer out in Colorado. They left everything and just took off.
The people left. They were still alive.
There were still Christmas cards from every holiday from the last 20 years.
Wait, were you in that house, or did you?
I was in the trailer. No,
You
I didn't live there.
You checked it out though.
Yeah, I checked it out.
So was it an old person, like somebody died of old age, you think, or
no, I think
he just died, maybe accident?
they left everything there.
Okay. Yeah, I've been in a couple of houses where the person definitely died of old age. They were an old person. I could see the old photographs. their old records, even a little like change, some money, old food,
They were hoarders.
orders,
Well,
old.
I don't keep cards. Most people that just up and leave were hoarders.
Or oh, the up and leavers, yeah, those
When the ones that just leave everything were.
those are handled maybe if they're younger, it might be handled a little differently. When the person dies, and maybe they were the owner, if they were the actual owner of the house and they died, then there's confusion about who should take over the property rights,
Yeah.
and the house can sit, especially when nobody, or maybe if the person doesn't even have family, they're the owner of the house, they die, they have no family, the city don't know what to do exactly. They want to give, if there's potentially a family member to find, they got to give it time, and the house can sit for decades, at least a decade.
Well, Wonder Hussy, she goes through all that stuff.
Wonder House?
Wonder Hussy channel.
That's okay. YouTube channel. They go through old abandoned.
Yeah, she goes through all these old abandoned cabins out in.
How do you find them? She has to like get some good heads up on that. I happen upon them every so often. I mean, just on a random bicycle ride. Yeah, like one in Idaho, old farmhouse. That was, man. I wish I had a better camera for that old farmhouse. It was a dry area, and everything was dried out. Didn't stink at all. There was no mold. Everything was dry, so it was preserved. And they left some things behind: bed and couches and TV. Yeah, but I mean, it's not something that abandoned houses, like how do people find out about?
Squatters, the ones that squatters haven't taken
Old,
over.
what about old abandoned motel in South Louisiana? That was,
Yeah.
I walked around an old abandoned motel.
Oh yeah, I see.
There's probably, there could be abandoned houses here that nobody really knows about. They like to close the curtains, but then over time those curtains rot and they start ripping. You start seeing the threads come apart, and then maybe people might start asking, what's going on? The curtains are falling apart. You can't look inside. You only have these curtains blocking your view, but they're falling apart. And a lot of these times, people mow the lawns of these abandoned houses to make it hard to tell. And sometimes these people are mowing the lawns just, they might be the neighbor, and they just might want to like buy it in the future or
Just
something.
So somebody don't come along and just decide to throw a match in or torch it.
Oh yeah. Oh, you think that's a big risk? That could be. I think most house fires are by accident and not intentional. There's probably most house fires are by accident than intentional, right?
Yeah.
You'd say, yeah, I would think that. And then there are pyro. There are those, but the pyromaniacs, where they go, these arsonists, where they actually just. What are they more likely to burn? An abandoned house for fun, or maybe to get revenge on somebody? I don't know. There's different kinds, I suppose. I was in jail. When I was in jail, I talked to a guy who's like there was an arsonist he was friends with or whatever. They both were brought in, but they had to be separated and put in different cells. The arsonist and then the guy who drove the arsonist to this house. But that was done out of revenge or something, I guess. The arsonist, he burned his own brother's house, apparently. So and they're sitting in jail waiting charges on that one. Yeah, it's...
Wonder Hussy. She's one of the fastest YouTubers.
Fastest?
Fastest growing.
Growing?
Yeah.
Wonder Hussy? All right. And she checked...
She goes through all these cabins out in California, mainly Death Valley.
Yeah.
These seasonal cabins, and most of them look like they're abandoned, but she goes through them.
And she's probably getting a heads up. She probably has a network of friends who.
She's good looking too.
And she's attractive.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, like those girls in bikinis who are fishing. Those are growing channels. There's pretty young girls fishing in bikinis. I think there might be growing faster growing channel than the armed fishermen. You ever hear of the armed fishermen? Okay. Yeah.
Magnetic. They use a magnet to fish
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah. There's people that do that.
off of bridges.
Yeah,
And
but
they come up with pistols and
yeah, just things that are magnetic. What about gold and silver, copper? I mean, you're not gonna pick that up.
old safe. Some people,
It-
they're magnetic, but
Yeah. Wonder Hussy. You have to look into that one. The abandoned. There's people who can grow their channel, but they're probably like paying. They probably have scouts or people that they're getting heads up. How can she? She's got a lot of. She's checked out a lot of abandoned
she
houses.
used to be a Las Vegas showgirl.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And now she's got a YouTube channel. She's making more money off of that. And she's going all over California, mainly Death Valley. And there's a lot of old mining camps. She goes through those abandoned mining camps and cabins. And
yeah, the cameras are getting better these days. The GoPro 10. That's what this Itchy Boots is using. I got my problems with it, but yeah, with the cameras improving, we can get the videos are more lifelike, and you feel like more like you're there in the moments, and so they can take better video, and so it's getting to be a little more fun. But yeah, what direction can YouTube go? I think they tried the 360 videos. You ever play around with those videos where you can scroll back and forth? You can look all around in the video, or
get a drone shot of Marshalltown, the tornado area.
Yeah, I want to get a drone when the Mavic 3 Mini comes out in August. I had a drone, and then I pretty much gave it away. But I'd like to get another one. Yeah, that perspective is.
She's got a drone.
She's got a drone. Yeah, that's really useful. The drones are getting better. My drone is too big. I think I want something I could easily just take with me on a bicycle ride. What I had was a little bit too big. But yeah, there's people. Yeah, girls can handle drones. You don't need a lot of training for them.
I don't travel that much, otherwise I wouldn't have a use for a drone.
Yeah, drones are a really good travel tool to have, for sure. Yeah, because there's some interesting, really neat things to record on a drone. If you just like when I get stuck in a city fighting a criminal charge, I don't use a drone at all. I don't really care.
You don't look for drone. You don't use a drone to look for parking places?
Well, okay. The drone has saved me a little bit. When I was in the mountains of Colorado, I got a little lost. I had no signal for Google Maps. It was fuzzy. I didn't update the map, so it was not clear where places were. So I just sent up the drone, look above the trees, and I'm like, oh, there's a parking lot over there. I'll go over that way.
Well, we used to use, just before Google Maps came out,
yeah,
we try to find a place to park overnight, truck drivers, after we delivered and stuff. And
yeah.
that saved us a lot. I never got real into it, but drones can be better than Google Maps. So are they more specific, drones?
Yeah, drones are a supplement to Google Maps. You can't always, like in the mountains, you don't pick up. I've been in plenty of places now where I can't pick up signals from my hotspot. It's too far out of range for cell phone. So yeah, a drone would have to be the next best thing to look around, especially when there's a lot of trees. This isn't Idaho where it's all grassland. The mountains of grassland. It's mountains of trees more in Colorado, and then around here too. Yeah, it's really helpful to look above these trees. If this is Arizona, you could see for miles off in the distance, but here, yeah, you got more barriers.
This state used to be covered in trees back in the 80s.
Yeah.
The farmers cleared all the trees.
That's what it is. They have wars against the trees around here. These trees never became sequoia trees. I doubt they got so large around these parts. But yeah, there's more war against vegetation around here. But in Arizona, like, they got laws against destroying vegetation. They're trying to preserve. They got protected areas and stuff. Don't walk here, but here you can just have at it. You saw down practically as much as you want. So they grow right back pretty fast.
They pulled them all out by the stumps, so they wouldn't
Yep.
go back.
Yeah.
Farmers back in the 1800s,
Yep.
they had to pull them out by the stumps,
Yeah. There's a lot more clearing being done with forests. Not and they just needed to practice a little management, not set fires, not set crazy fires, whatever. Uh, in Missouri, they pile up huge piles of trees and burn them sometimes. I haven't really seen that in any other states, where they could pile up huge piles, like pile of the size of the inside of the shelter area, and have it sit, and then eventually set it on fire, I guess. Just huge bonfires. They practice that in Missouri, in the farm remote areas for some reason. I haven't seen it in Iowa. I've never seen it in Wisconsin. Well, okay, I'm just talking. I'm just rambling on. I don't. It's just there's strange. There's little quirks that are strange. It's hard to describe though. I see in some areas that I don't see in others. But it's things that are hard to communicate actually, because you'd have to see it yourself. I think.
There's more tourist stuff going out east. Hopefully you get to go out east.
Yeah, I'm heading slowly in that direction. Go up Minnesota, come down Wisconsin. Probably go through my hometown going south, I think. Rice Lake, Wisconsin. So I'd like to get some video of Wisconsin, of Rice Lake. But I'm hesitant too, because I think I'll have to return to Natchitoches.
Oh, that's what I was kind of wondering too.
I think I might have to. I think the third court of appeals is gonna say give them a retrial, make them try it again. So I'll have to start another GoFundMe for another lawyer to get another contract and maybe the same lawyer just start a new contract to prepare for another trial, and then watch the prosecutor push until the trial day before dropping it. They could do that.
Yeah.
I think they're motivated to give me a real hard time, and it's great for YouTube. I don't want to be there in August. It's the hottest time of the year, and I'd like to try to extend past August.
Yeah, tell your lawyer you want to schedule something during the winter.
Yeah, I want.
If you got a suggestion, if he asks you when are you available, just say in the winter.
Yeah, just whatever hearings or whatever trial. I'll do a retrial. It's just I just gotta work it to where it's the weather's fine. I mean I can handle the heat better with using ice, but yeah, that's going to be too much of that's going to be a challenge in August. But yeah, I'll be. We moved pretty fast. Now it's all in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals hands now. Now the only thing that we could do is I can ask people to write that friend of the court. You ever hear of the friend of the court, or I forget the other name. I don't know, people can write to the judge or something and talk about how they should rule that the city judge was wrong. I don't know, whatever that is called. Writ of mandamus, or
They get a petition, enough signatures.
no, it's not a petition. But yeah, it costs this friend of the court paper that you could write. You have to pay $100 filing fee or explain why it should be free. So I don't know how it goes with that. There's actually a court rule that, and I put that in the description of the video when I talked about. Yeah, I forget the name of it. Just whatever. It's the friend of the court thing. Whatever. It's something that people can do. I talked about it. Trying to talk about it, see what people think of it. There's nothing else I can do. It's all out of. It's pretty much out of my hands. It could either go when they make their decision. It could either just get really crazy for me, or it could be done. It goes either way. Either get really crazy preparing for another trial, or case dismissed. And they say the trial court was wrong. You should have been found innocent or not guilty, and that's it. You know, it could go either way, and I think it's going to go the more expensive way. I think they're going to choose them. They're going to ask, what's the most expensive option for this guy? And it's going to be a retrial where he's got to hire another lawyer, and then maybe that's when I apply for a court-appointed attorney or whatever. I'll go through that process.
Are you eventually going to follow up with Williston?
There's nothing to follow up on.
Oh, there ain't.
What do you mean?
Well, which one was it they wanted you to follow up on?
Just only Natchitoches. That's it. That's the only active case I have right now. I don't have any other active cases. Williston is case closed. That's it. It ended about. Williston.
Columbia, Missouri, not Columbia, but
Bethany, Missouri.
Bethany.
Yeah, that was case closed in a day and a half.
You can't follow up on that one?
With what? A lawsuit?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to sue. I never sued anybody.
Oh.
But yeah, all the cases are closed. And yeah, I guess I could try to start a case. I got somebody who's kind of helping. He wants to write a lawsuit, and he's may have submitted a warning to the Bethany. I don't know. But I'm like, if you want to write something, you want to put something together, you can have all the money that you win. I'll support it. I'll whatever you want to do. But you can have all the money. I don't care. I'll just take the bragging rights if I win a lawsuit against whoever. I really wish I could have sued Williston, North Dakota. That was a pain to deal with. And Natchitoches is pretty much a greater pain, because I've spent over 20 days in jail there with that. And
you could get a lot more from Natchitoches than you could.
Well, Williston is an oil city. They have their biggest taxpayer is the oil. They're in the Bakken oil region, and they have the money. They're making their decisions based on what the oil's telling them, and they're not getting the best advice. Natchitoches, it's the federal government is paying them more money than, I think that's their biggest.
The Democrats are funded now.
Yeah, it's a welfare city. The mayor even brags about the free money that they're getting from the feds and how he's going to spend it. In his state of the city address, I watched, he put out in January, just talks about the money they're getting and where they're going to put it. Give it to the police, give it to the new businesses, start new business programs, and all this free federal money is going to.
FEMA's headquarters is probably in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Because of the hurricanes.
Yep. Yeah, I talked to an inmate who said his trailer got destroyed and he got $12,000. Yeah, there's a lot of federal money going there.
Yeah.
They're more dependent upon handouts, and it's affecting how the mayor gives his state of the city address. It doesn't.
Some 3 thug cops down there in the library. 3 thugs.
Yeah, they're thugs, and there's 3 judges that are going to decide on my case. So
it took 3 of them. You should feel honored.
3 cops.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of different. I've had some stops where there's been more. I think there's been maybe 1 or 2 more cops. 3 is a lot. 3, yeah, maybe. I might have had 4 or 5 at one time, but I can't remember when.
You've had 1 or 2?
Yeah, it's usually 1 or 2. They'll call back. They'll call the backup, and the backup usually is 2 cops. It's maybe 1 car, but you know they're riding together. But yeah, I haven't really kept track of how often they call for backup. Depends on. It's hard to say. How many times has the cop stop just been handled by 1 cop? I'm not. And they didn't have to call, and they didn't bother calling a backup. I don't know.
They're less likely to abuse their powers if they have to call backup.
Yeah. I was thinking that if they ride motorcycle or bicycles, they'd be less likely to want to arrest me because they just don't really have a way to transport themselves. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like what factors are involved. The cops that have arrested me have let's see, Idaho by himself, Colorado by himself. Yeah, I'm pretty. Williston. Yeah, he was by himself. They're in their own cars. They had no partners with them. They're just driving by themselves. Um, they all have. Well, no.
I was the one that sent you the comment about they asked for an ID, just give me your library card. You know?
Oh, somebody. Yeah, I remember some people said something about library card. Yeah,
Because I had a cop ask me, you didn't say what ID, you know, and actually they can't use if you don't have a regular ID, they have to use a library card.
Yeah. There's some kind of plastic piece of whatever with your fingerprints on it. Maybe just get a piece
There's
of
a lot of people don't have IDs.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous, this ID thing.
What do they do in that situation?
Yeah, it's not like, I mean,
The homeless people because they don't have access to their birth certificate or social security card.
Yep.
And you know, and they don't have an ID. What do they do in that situation? You know?
Yeah, it's a matter. It comes down to telling your name instead. The cop has to get out a pad of paper and pen, and then tell your name and your birthday. I'm willing to exchange information. I'll exchange names and birthdays. Some cops have asked me for my social security number, so they'll push the issue as far as they can. Where do you live? But if they ask for that, I want to know theirs in return too. So I'm willing to exchange, but not. I'm not going to totally deny their request because I don't see a problem with giving that information, but I want to do my own investigation as well. Find out what the deal is with them. See what they have to say about the city. I mean, this cop I talked to earlier, I could have asked him more questions, but I just stuck with the one. And it's 3:30. Nobody's here, but it's still, they might be waiting for more the evening time to just.
Usually over the 4 people are having picnics.
You see 4 people?
Over the 4th, they don't.
Yeah, July 4th. It's July 4th.
They're usually out having picnics and.
It's the July 4th weekend. People are getting together in different ways. I don't know where I'll be. I think I won't be in this city. I think I want to just jump north to the next city. I'll probably be just in the next city north of here for July 4th. Last year I was in I was in Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Just happened to be there. Iowa Falls, maybe?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh wait, okay. Which? Yeah, Iowa Falls. I wanted to head a slight west direction, so I will be missing Waterloo.
Yeah,
I'll go to Iowa Falls. Find out where the Walmart and library.
Dubuque is a decent town.
I'll be missing Dubuque for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll go as far west as Iowa Falls and go straight north, and then head into Mason City, and then I'll jump into Minnesota at some points. Maybe
Minnesota used to be a decent state until that. And I'm not pregnant before that Floyd trial stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's. You know, I was in St. Cloud, and yeah, pretty much St. Cloud is a big Somalian city,
Yeah.
and there's other Somalian cities, but they didn't seem affected by any. I don't
No.
think the Somalians were affected by that.
If you notice that with Africans, they will not stick up for American blacks.
Yeah, the actual the like the Somalians, they keep their own tradition. It's a lot different. It felt safer in that city than any other city, like Louisiana. If this, why didn't they ship this? Why couldn't Somalians have been moved to Louisiana instead of Minnesota? And Minnesota is a big drop off point for Somalians. And I think they could have improved the conditions of Louisiana.
That was Obama's doings because he knew the
Well,
economy is better in Minnesota, way better.
98. I know that Somalians were shipped to parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin in 90, way back in 99. I knew it, and I was told they were shipped in 98. This is a Somalian war, and that was a long time ago. You know, that wasn't during Obama's time, but when what's that?
The economy's better than that. They sent them to where their chances of getting a job are going to be a lot better.
Yeah,
Easier.
but
What's their chances down in Louisiana of getting
well, they could have.
job?
They could have improved. They really could have improved the condition. They could have improved. They would have handled. I think they would have handled the weather better, and just improved the culture.
Yeah.
I think they could have thrived in a. They were living in a poor culture anyway. It's not like they needed to be in a rich culture. They could have. You could have just moved them into another poor culture, and like what happened with the Hmong people. You know, the Hmongs from the Vietnam War. They had to escape. Well, I was told that they got some checks. They're getting some weekly checks.
The Vietnamese, yeah, Laotians back in
Yeah,
the
there's
early 80s,
the government.
gave them a house
The government was giving them money.
and a $5,000 vehicle.
Yeah, yeah. There was some stipends there when they as a refugee. There's refugee money to help them get on their feet, and I just why Minnesota, and a lot of Hmongs were sent to Wisconsin and probably Minnesota too. It's like two popular states for refugee stuff.
Well, they're willing to pay for cheap labor.
Yeah, a
Just
lot
like
of
these meatpacking plants, they're looking for cheap labor.
yeah, and that's that's Mexican dominated. It's like maybe it's not so much the meatpacking plants talking to each other about arranging illegal immigrants to the workforce. Maybe it's the actual illegal immigrants themselves who got a network, and they may have somebody with a list of all the meatpacking plants, and they're coordinating, you know, where to send everybody. It's probably not the meatpacking plants themselves.
Somebody said they had a sign just on the other side of the border down there in Mexico. It said, it tells the Mexican right where they can go to for food stamps,
Okay.
welfare,
Yeah.
or jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
They won't post it on our side of the border, but they'll post it on their side.
Yep. Okay. I got you. Yeah. It's
They'll get in trouble on our side.
Yep. There's that secret. They got some kind of a mafia. They probably have some kind of a meatpacking mafia, Mexican mafia, like that works. That's working under the table, coordinating a lot of these.
They got the Mexican mafia working right in our country.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, I don't speak Spanish, and it's better to speak your own language so that you can't have people overhearing it so easily. So there's something going on. You just look for the most nicely dressed Mexican, I would think, and with
Well,
got.
I feel sorry for them, but
Yeah, they just there's a different a way of doing things between.
they're willing to work.
Yeah, but when it gets down to it, it's the labor that we're trying. It's the labor that we're trying um, to finish. We need somebody to do the labor.
Yeah.
But it's just it sickens me to see how these animals are treated. You know, we got the meatpacking plant with the Mexicans with the cheap labor and all that. But look at how these animals are raised. I've drove by a chicken. I think a chicken farm is stink. I smell it on the road.
Did you see my comment about the gay chicken farmer down there?
Oh, you saw that video? Yeah.
Did you see my comment? I said he's probably looking for a good time.
Yeah, there's this guy that was in Louisiana and Missouri, and we talked for a little bit. It was halfway through, I think, the conversation. I just decided to start recording. It was interesting.
I got a approval, or I got a thumbs up from you, a like from you.
Oh, I gave you that? Okay. Yeah, I don't
comment.
just give those out to anyone either. Those are
That was funny. Some of them comments on that chicken farmer, man, that was hilarious.
okay. I'd have to look at it. I guess I grazed through them. I guess there was some. Yeah, I can't remember a specific. I'd have to look at. Yeah, I know one person mentioned. You know what timing you put out this video during the Pride Month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I had to go. I couldn't turn that down. It was too tempting. Some of the other funny comments on it.
About the gay chicken farmer. Yeah, like so. I don't know. Yeah. Just I can't even think of anything.
Some guys.
It's just such a weird. It's a weird predicament. It's a weird.
To choke your chicken.
Yeah. It's a weird. It's a weird. It's a weird. The situation this guy is living in under. You know, he owns chickens. He only has 50, and he prefers men. The only reason that was brought out is because I was talking about my failures with women.
And your expression on your face after he said, with God, with men, you know, and you were trying to hide it, and it was so funny. You know?
Yeah, I didn't know where to.
You didn't know how to read. He caught you totally off guard, didn't he?
Yeah. That was because that stopped me from talking about my failures with women, and you know, just put it out there. You know, it's not like I titled it like that to get attention. I thought, what the heck, you know, if he's open about talking about that. I kind of wanted to see how much we could talk about with that, but I was also not interested either. I'm glad he changed the topic. He pretty much.
You knew that good views, though, didn't you?
Well, they weren't great. They weren't a lot. 1,500. That's, you know, that's nothing to brag about.
Is that why you continued with the conversation?
What?
Or would you normally have continued with the conversation?
Yeah, I would just talk. I want to learn about Louisiana. I wanted to, because I thought I looked around. I already got done walking around, and I saw a lot of Louisiana. I saw that it's a lot of crumbling buildings and stuff. So I wanted to talk about Louisiana. I toured it, and now somebody's approaching me to talk, and I'm like, let's talk about the city now.
I've had gays. Gays can be kind of aggressive.
Yeah, there's aggressive, and they try to hide. They'll try to hide their intent or.
But this guy was honest, but he wasn't real.
You could hear him, okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
The sound was okay.
He
Yeah.
wasn't being aggressive.
No, we got off any gay topics. See, the video was titled "Being Gay as a Chicken Farmer," but there's a small part of the video really where we discussed homosexuality. You know,
everybody's waiting until the end for him to start being aggressive towards it.
okay.
But he never did, you know.
Yeah, and I just kind of talked about things. He's an older guy, and I don't think he was really, you know, he wasn't the young guy really looking to party. You know, he wasn't a party boy. We're talking about an older guy who's in the past. I mean, obviously he's had experiences that he liked. You know, with other
Rural Missouri to find a guy like that. What's your chances?
That's weird because
better winning the lottery.
yeah, because they drove. This is Missouri. They drove out the Mormons, and then the Amish pretty much moved in place of the Mormons, and yeah. How does it, like, this is a state that struggles with the brother and the sister having sex in the Amish communities. They have that problem. There's a word for it. But,
incest.
Yeah, incest. Incest. That's the word. Yep.
Well,
yeah.
Not so much, Amish are more cousins instead, distant cousins.
Yeah, and they'll have cousins having sex with each other because, they don't have a great system to branch out. So yeah.
I've seen that about, like, the Mormons. They were incest within the religion, and they lost a lot of babies because of incest.
Yeah.
Because DNA just.
Mormons have a lot of different backgrounds. I think it's an American-made religion in the 1840s, and yeah, just a lot of people from different backgrounds, but no blacks. No, not too wide of a diversity with Mormonism.
Well, they're starting to get black bishops, but.
Are they okay?
Yeah.
No. Well, not many of. It's a small. They don't want to let any other race take over the white dominated religion.
Mormon is just kind of a. It's a cult.
Yeah, well, it's a big cult. Yeah, they've branched out. They send out those young people into other cities to walk around and.
Whereas Amish, I don't consider really a cult. But...
Amish, yeah, they maintain that small community atmosphere, and
Mormons they're money hungry people, but Amish,
yeah,
they can live without money.
Well, they're not. The Mormons aren't flashing gold chains. They're not driving the fanciest cars, the fanciest houses. I mean, I've been through Utah from the north to the south. I've been through Salt Lake. I went to a museum next to the Capitol in Salt Lake. There's the state capitol, and then there's a free museum. So I could see like some things from one of the
JS Urban Adventures. He lives in Salt Lake City. He was homeless.
Yeah.
He's got a channel.
JS Urban Adventures.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, it's.
And he's anti-Mormon.
Anti? Okay. There are some. Oh, two. Okay. See. Yeah. Urban Adventures. That's.
He has a video every 2 or 3 days.
Wow. Yeah.
He's Republican.
He's keeping busy with.
He's going to all these protests in Utah.
Oh, he's okay. Yeah, they protest, or at least I've seen a. When Trump got elected, I was in Salt Lake City, and I was nearby the capital of Salt Lake City, sleeping. I was sleeping in the hospital, next to the hospital, on the east side of the Capitol, in my car on the side of the road. I was here. I heard protests at the Capitol, and there's a steep hill that goes up to the Capitol, and these people walked up that hill and were protesting, "Not my president." Trump back in 2020 or 28. When was he elected? 2020? 2018? 2016. Yeah. No, 2018. Yeah. No, it would be 2016. Whoa, wait a second. 2016. Yeah, the 2020.
2024.
Yeah. Okay. 2016. Yeah, they were shouting, "Not my president," for one night. It was just this big protest in Utah. They marched to the Capitol. protest against Trump being elected. I don't know. It just, and then it stopped. They got quiet at night. And the next night there was nothing. I think they got tired from that hill. There's a really steep hill that you march up to. This Capitol in Salt Lake is on the top of a pretty tall hill. So it's not like other some capitals are not on hills like that. And
well, they're just, well, Romney was gonna. They're mad because Romney didn't get in there.
Yeah, Romney should have won, or to them, he should have won, I suppose.
He's thinking about running 2024, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not much enthusiasm. I don't have the same enthusiasm for Trump this time around. It was pretty exciting to experience that election cycle.
We've had Democrats for going on damn near 12 straight years, you know.
Yeah,
we needed a change, you know. I'm not Republican. I'm not either. Or
you'd swing both ways. Just whatever the candidate, whatever they.
We needed to change it.
Okay. Yeah.
But Romney, he says he's Republican and he does all these stupid things.
Yeah, it's really a strange. His values are a little confusing.
And he's in it for the money. He's a Mormon. He's a businessman.
Yeah.
So typical Mormon. They like the money,
But Mormons. I mean, they're flashy with their buildings, the tabernacles and the whatever their buildings, the outside of their buildings, and they're highly protected. I've never walked in a Mormon church. Apparently, you could, if a new Mormon church is built, they'll let visitors check it out for a couple of weeks, and then it's closed off to only the Mormons. So, and what's inside? I don't know, but they try to make their buildings look immaculate on the outside. They put some money into security. You walk around Salt Lake, you're able to walk around outside of these monuments, and they have nice little garden areas and whatever. That money goes into architecture for sure, almost like a Mason, the Freemasons or whatever they put together. Masons put together some nice looking buildings. You're older. You ever hear of the International Order of the Oddballs, the Oddfellows? You ever hear of the Oddfellows? Okay, the IOOF, the International Order of Oddfellows. Okay, they're out. I think they're. I don't even know if they're active, but I know there was a time when they were pretty active, like the Masons, I guess, the Freemasons, and they leave behind on these stone buildings their logos. You'll see on a stone carving IOOF. This building used to be for that, or for Freemasons.
You don't hear too much about the Masons anymore, do you?
You don't hear about them, the Oddfellows. There's some groups
American Legion. That's kind of a religion. I kind of wonder about American Legion Elks.
Yeah, those are active groups. Yeah, the Elks, the Moose Club. If there's a Moose Club. Yeah,
if they're just kind of offshoots of the
I don't know what they do. I mean, the whole events. They're an event-oriented organization. Maybe a drinking event, maybe a softball event. Just organizing that, fundraising. They'll do various events, and then it's just ways to get together, to bring people together, socialize, and to connect in ways. And I mean, who am I to try to discourage that? Why should I discourage people getting together over a religion or a group or whatever? Because they're connecting. They're working on their bonds.
Illegal activity like polygamists.
Oh, that, yeah, the Mormons. Wow, yeah, it's
When a religion goes unchecked
it,
for a long, certain amount of time,
yeah.
they think they can get away with stuff like that, polygamy.
There's yeah, they're untouched. Yeah, there's yeah, like the extreme terrorism or extremism with
That's
the.
why Missouri chased them out, because they were dating
Oh yeah,
underage kids, down there in Missouri.
under yeah, multiple underage spouses, and women can't have multiple husbands, but the husband can have multiple
Yeah.
wives. Yeah, that kind of angers me, being a single guy who never really hooked up never really gotten into any long-term
I've
relationships.
seen some beautiful women out there in Utah.
Utah, well, yeah, there's beautiful women in this states too.
I mean,
It's
you'd think that they would be married, but
yeah,
there's a lot of unmarried. Believe it or not, in Utah, there's a lot of unmarried women.
yeah. Some that are into that CrossFit, that are into the fitness.
Yeah.
That yeah, I've seen some social media posts about women from Utah that are into that social media, and maybe there's some advantage to exercise over there. Maybe because it's a drier state, they don't sweat as much, and
They
that
don't drink caffeine.
oh that's yeah. Um, yeah, I still have to figure out. It's too late now, but like
They,
how meth is made. I always thought I still believe ephedrine. There's a plant called ephedra. It
yeah.
grows in the.
Yeah, I've seen some of your. Did you get a kind of a effect off of that?
You must have seen quite a few videos, huh?
Yeah,
Okay, that's why we're talking so long, I guess, right? You
I,
have you've had a lot of you've taken in a lot of what I've had said in the
not so
past.
much the court ones, but because I don't know much about courts. I haven't had to deal with.
You never did. Okay, yeah. See, I paid attention while my case was active to there's court channels, and now I don't watch them anymore. Because my court is done right now, so whatever. Yeah, the ephedra thing is interesting. I wish I'd looked into it more. I found there's this plant that grows in the desert, and it's called ephedra, and it's supposed to have ephedrine, which is what's used for meth. So you could make a tea out of ephedra and get stimulant effects.
I've seen survival shows, guys out in Utah using the ephedra
Yeah,
just to
ephedra.
make tea out of it or something.
Yeah, and I just never I never had a great way to do it. I did heat up the liquid and then added the ephedra, crushed up the ephedra.
And I used to take ephedra and being a truck driver. I
Yeah,
couldn't stay awake on just plain coffee.
coffee was not good enough.
And ephedrine was legal back then.
Yep.
You could buy
Yeah.
it at truck stops.
Yeah, back then.
I never
Yeah.
tried meth, but I got good enough high from it.
Close enough, huh? It's close. It's
You can buy
close.
it at truck stops. In fact, you used to be able to.
Yep.
It's illegal now. But
That's why. Yeah, that's why people don't see it as that bad of a drug if it could be
it's
so.
natural, just like
Well, yeah, it's I don't know what to think of
the
it.
Indians swear
It's
by.
like it's like the natural ingredient, the original source of a lot of these drugs. I mean, it's too bad that that they're demonized. Like the coca leaf for cocaine. I mean, I bought over the internet the coca leaf, and it was successfully sent to me. They say it gets decoconized, but I made the tea out of the leaf, and I felt this energetic effect. It was different from caffeine. I thought this oxygen. You feel like you get more oxygen in your body, type of thing. That's from the leaf, not without having going through the process of being of the cocaine taken out. That one. But all these have original plants. 75% of drugs have a plant that was the source. A lot of times it's yeah, I should have a police scanner for that. A lot of times
I didn't see your earlier videos.
her-
Just mainly where you started in.
original, like what, travel or
Yeah. I didn't see any of your Washington videos or your
Oh,
California videos or
yeah, those go
most
back.
of your Idaho videos I didn't see. Or
Yeah, they go. Yeah, I got a lot. You can't watch every one, that's for sure. And now that more time, more videos come out, it's impossible for anybody to sit through all of that. It's a lot. Yeah, I've been posting for a long time, 5 years.
you get you, you get out going out east though. Man.
You get a lot of contacts with police. You think?
Well, it'd be
I wonder. They're more aggressive. They're supposed to be more aggressive on the east side of the east half of the country.
well,
But,
the West is more modern, up, well-to-do people.
yeah,
The cops are more likely to mess with you. I think out west, the cops are more likely to mess with you.
yeah, we'll see. If I survive long enough to explore the east side, average. Maybe we could do a little study.
I parked overnight in downtown Philadelphia.
Okay.
Never got messed with. Right
Never,
in front of a crack house.
never got your. Yeah, that is
In a
risky.
tractor trailer.
Why did you take the? Oh, in your truck?
Yeah.
Why did you take that risk?
Because my delivery was right across the street, the very first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Okay.
I used to park downtown East St. Louis all the time.
East St. Louis.
Never got bothered.
Maybe
Downtown
that's a
St.
safe.
Louis.
Yeah, because Lake Charles, I heard a lot of radio traffic on my police scanner, and I've been told that's the kind of dangerous area.
It just depends. If you're
That's-
looking for trouble, you're going to find it.
Well, yeah. Looking for trouble. Yep, it's. I suppose. I'm just traveling, and I took a chance coming here, and it's almost 4 and still pretty quiet. So
It's pretty laid back here.
yeah, it's nicely built up, but then it's just we're the only two. It's like
I parked overnight in the Bronx, New York.
I couldn't sleep here overnight too. You don't think?
Never got messed with. But it's one of the toughest neighborhoods in the country.
Yeah, that's right on the island. You're
Yeah.
right. Did you have to pay a toll to get in?
Yeah, you got to pay it. Used to be the George Washington Bridge was $30. Now they're saying it's $100. They raised the toll. The GW Bridge.
You got to pay that much to get in.
In a truck. In a car.
Oh.
It's only 25.
Only. I see. I wanna at least.
Just go out to Manhattan and Times Square, park there.
But that's after you pay to get in. You think a person could sleep on the island?
Oh yeah.
I could pay, and that's a paid. I mean, I slept in San Francisco, and I was somewhat successful in places, but New York, that's an island, and you gotta. I mean, I didn't pay to cross that Golden Gate Bridge because you only pay one way. You pay to come down south. It's free to go north.
Yeah, that's the way it is with the GW.
Yeah. Okay.
One way.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. One
They
way.
knew you had to come back up. They
Yeah.
knew you weren't going to stay because eventually you have to come back out.
Yeah, the most popular direction to take. I came from the south just because that's just where I was coming from, and yeah, I exited. Yeah, and New York's an island though. There's no coming in a freeway, through a free road and then leaving. Yeah, without paying. It's an island, so there's how many? Yeah, there's probably several bridges though that you can.
There's a Tappan Zee, Arizona.
They all probably cost money to.
Yeah.
That
The
not.
GW is more expensive. I always took the Verrazano Bridge. It's because it gets less traffic and it doesn't go directly into Manhattan. It just goes into Staten Island, which is on the south side of the island,
Staten Island.
which is the least populated. And then you eventually go into Long Island.
Okay. The least populated sounds good. Staten Island.
Yeah,
All right.
You take that bridge in because it's
I'll make a mental note of that one. Staten Island. Just in case I make it down that way. I intend to I'll look for a place maybe to park my car and hopefully get another nicer bicycle and enjoy a bicycle ride in.
It'd be interesting to get a different perspective on cops around the country, instead of just out west I don't know if the East are more tolerable or what,
Well, there's life is more rough. People are more gritty, abrasive in the east half than the west. Apparently, I don't know. They're pretty gritty all over. It kind of depends on the
Oh, I'm
cult.
not telling you what to do. I just
Yeah, I'm heading to east. I'm slowly going east. And then when I reached the East Coast, looked around a little bit. I don't know. Then
went
after
to Canada. I've been in Canada.
you've been in Canada, all right. I'd
I've
like
been
to go.
in the Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Montreal. Oh, you'd love Canada.
I know I would. Yeah, absolutely.
It's better than this country.
It'd be nice to be up there in the summertime. We tried to invade it in the winter and failed. Apparently, there's a big backlash. But why invade it in the winter time? What's the problem with those truckers? Then they go on a big trucking cruise across the country and this stopped, and now we're forgotten. I don't. But why didn't they try that in the summertime? Go up to Canada and mount a big protest in the summer. That would have been a lot better.
Those were Canadian truckers.
Those are all. Well, I thought Americans joined them. Those all Canadians. Oh, oh, okay.
Because of COVID.
Yeah, the COVID thing. Yeah, I just.
You know, Trudeau, he's like a dictator.
Yeah, a dictator of Canada. That's usually dictators do a lot better in smaller countries. When you got a country as big as Canada, a lot of untamed wilds in Canada. It's hard to be a dictator. And people who I think a lot of Canadians think for themselves. They don't have a lot of group mentality. The dictators do best in countries that have a lot of group mentality.
You don't think prime ministers are more of a dictator than a president?
They mandate. Their mandate. He's a mandator, but dictator. Somebody's got full control of the population. I mean, they did protests. So I mean, a dictator probably wouldn't have protests. What was the question again? Sorry.
No, I don't.
Yeah, this. Yeah. He's not the. He doesn't seem like the most tyrannical dictator I've seen. Not like a Hitler.
No.
He mandates things. He says he wants these things to be a certain way, but does he get? I mean, he could say one thing, but does he get much support with that? I mean, what's the result of his demands? He's in a position to get a lot of publicity for making his demands, but yeah, what's
Go up into British Columbia, Canada. Have you thought about Vancouver?
Yeah,
I
would ask how could I get to Alaska, with as little problem as possible. How can I reach another? If I wanted to go to Hawaii, I'd need a boat. But what about how do I reach Alaska? How do I reach the whatever Puerto Rico that's kind of a part of America too. Puerto Rico,
Alaska's pretty primitive. I don't know about the cops up there.
yeah,
They get away with a lot more than they do down here.
but how could I travel to Alaska? If I just wanted to go to Alaska, I mean, couldn't I just drive through Canada on a pass in some way?
You didn't need a passport to get into Canada, but now you do.
Yeah,
10 years ago.
Need all this special credentials, and it's like maybe a 7-day wait or something too, or you can't just go up to the border and say I want to drive to Alaska. Go to the closest border, and I don't know how that works.
Well, I know Hobo Shoestring. He used to go to Alaska about once a week on his videos.
On a train, he'd sneak in and wow.
No, he'd fly.
Oh, he flew. Oh.
He'd fly up to Alaska and take a train part of the way.
Okay, yeah, so he's willing to do those travel.
So if you can fly it, so surely you can just drive it.
Yeah, take a boat or something. I applied for a job as in the cannery, the salmon, during the salmon fishing. They needed a lot of workers in a certain season, during a season. I applied, but I didn't get any work. There was a seminar in Aberdeen, Washington. So I actually met like the hiring guys, and I think Yeah, man, I think I recognize somebody as strange. You probably in your lifetime you've run into people that you knew from some other time, right? You've had that. That's yeah. I didn't. I checked it out just to see if I was seriously considering working in the canning industry and for a season in Alaska, but I didn't get the job anyway, so whatever. But that would have been interesting. You just I'd have had to leave my car behind. I couldn't take my car to Alaska. That would have been that would have been a problem for me if I actually got hired. What would I do with my car, type of thing? Have to park it at a long-term parking lot somewhere. But yeah, just to make the little money. They paid pretty good, I guess, and
You could live off the land if you had to in
yeah,
Alaska.
yeah. That's there was some people living in a cabin, living off the land, but the government interfered with that. There's apparently the government declared the wild frontier closed in the 1890s, and ever since then, there's every inch of this country is now owned by somebody or organization in some way. The wild frontier was all bought up officially. There's all the plots were filled. There's names on all the plots. It's in some way, I guess, by the 1890s. So, and that might include Alaska, right? When was Alaska next? Maybe when was Alaska brought in the 1950s, right? Much later than the 1890s. Yeah, because
from Russia in 1890, didn't we? And
yeah,
we didn't become a state until 1950 something.
yeah, something like that. So really, the 1890s, they declared what we had as America so far was the wild frontier was declared closed, but then we bought Alaska, and then a new wild frontier opened up for a while, until, and I'm sure it's all owned and stuff at this point. There's really no wild frontier that you can't say, nobody owns this. You could look on a plat and say somebody owned it, because I mean people are dying, so property owners are dying, and then they might not have family, and then it's confusion of who owns what. But how do that takes a lot of research to find out.
Well, you'd think the homeless people could just live on the beach all along the west coast. But there's condos lined up all the way from Seattle to San Diego. It's just solid condominiums.
Well, no, it's on the beach. There's a lot of open area on the beach. I mean, but it's so easy for people to drive up and down the beach and patrol it. There's a lot of areas on the beach you can easily drive. It's as sturdy as this concrete.
In Florida, they're lined up condos all the way from
there might be more.
Tampa clear down to Miami. It's just solid all along the beach.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it's not in California. California gets those sneaker waves, the tsunamis sometimes, and like roads that are built too close to the beach get washed away. The soil just gets washed over it, and I've heard train tracks. Yeah, train tracks get washed over.
I wanted to park, go look at the beach. You had to park 5 miles away.
Yeah.
In Florida, just to get to the beach.
You're right there, right?
And walk.
You had to walk 5 miles to get to the beach?
Oh, it was probably 2 or 3.
In Florida?
Yeah, in Florida.
Huh. Well, all right. Yeah, I suppose they got to give a lot of clearance. That's for sure. Those waterways, there's parts of California that are falling into the ocean right now. The waves beating against high cliffs, hundreds of feet up, 300, 400 feet up. You could look down on the ocean, and there's parts of the beach where you could just walk right to the water. There's parts of the beach you can walk right to the water, and there's parts where you can't. You have to look at the water 300 feet up or something. And those are the parts that are falling into the ocean.
Yeah.
And it's constantly, it's a landscape that's constantly changing. It's going through daily changes and, you know, weekly, yearly. So yeah, California might be kind of shrinking, but it's at a slow pace. Yeah.
They said all the Californians are flocking to Portugal now, of all places.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, South
Portugal.
America is intriguing. Mexico is scary just because of the social structure there, but yeah, further south, like we're talking Pacific Ocean doesn't stop in the south part of California. It continues in Mexico and the South America. And what's up with that? Not many people seem to travel those parts of the country. What the Itchy Boots? If you watch Itchy Boots, she's showing a lot of that South America and in Mexico, and that's interesting. She's got her GoPro 10s and GoPro Max 360. That's all. She's using 3 cameras, and she's putting out videos that are getting 500,000 views each video. She's getting an incredible amount of views just traveling around these parts, Guatemala, and now she's in Mexico.
What was that, Victoria Rose, or who was?
What?
Victoria Rose.
Who's that?
She's going all over each country.
Each country, but South America specifically.
Yeah, she just got done all over Colombia, Machu Picchu, and then she went straight to South Korea after that.
Oh, she made a big jump.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I find the more immediate
South America, you could drive down here.
I know, that's the thing. I see these videos, Itchy Boots, going around Mexico, and then she was in South America, and I'm like, you know, that's something I could do, I think. But I mean,
he drove down to Cabo San Lucas.
I've read this old book from 1900. I was at a museum, and it was talking about Mexico. I took a picture of it. And it said there's mountains that are snow covered in Mexico. I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I know there's snow covered mountains in New Mexico.
There's a snow covered Kilimanjaro in Nairobi, Africa.
Africa, yeah, that's amazing.
It's the only one in the whole.
Yeah, it's the only one.
Whole continent. It's the only snow covered mountain.
Yep. Yeah, it's the landscape. I want to explore more of the landscape, but really, I don't have to take big jumps to see new landscape. The next city north of here is going to look different, and that'll fascinate me. So I like these small jumps. They're nice, but I don't want to run out of space. I don't want to have to drive through the same spot again.
Yeah.
If I live to be 70, still traveling, I don't want to go through the same places again. It'd be nice to be able to go to different places like Mexico or South America. But see, the Itchy Boots knows. Yeah, I'd like to check out Canada. Go further.
The cops are like up there.
Well, yeah, a lot of that sounds the same. It sounds very similar. They just have Canada rules, Canada law.
I bet the Royal Mounties up there aren't nearly as strict as they are here.
Yeah, maybe bigger in the big cities. They can be kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it's
just like the Texas Rangers try to have their own distinct police force.
I never dealt with a Texas Ranger. I dealt with more Border Patrol than Texas Ranger. Yeah, and the border is so different between Mexico and Canada. You don't deal with. I got stopped. I had a lot more interactions with Mexican Border Patrol than I have Canadian Border Patrol. Really, even the Mexican Border Patrol would do law enforcement functions. I was put in handcuffs by the Border Patrol on the Mexican border over just looking suspicious. Yeah, that was weird. In Langtree, Texas, small town right there on the border, with Judge Roy Bean controlled for a little bit and got notoriety. He held an illegal boxing match, but he held it on the Mexican side of the border in the early 1900s. Yeah, Yeah, the border. It's I don't know how to cross. I never asked how to cross the border. I just
I was down there in
I,
Laredo
oh yeah,
about 5 years ago, and they
5, yeah.
said you don't want to go into Mexico. The cartels will give you a hard time just as soon as you get across the border. You know.
Yeah, Laredo. That's somebody was complaining a lot about some a former a cop murdering prostitutes. I think in Laredo. Yeah,
Brownsville. They said you
Bro-
don't want to go into Mexico, not even to visit for one day because of the cartels.
yeah. It's like if you wanted to have a spouse murdered, you just go on a vacation down there and you could just blame the cartel.
Yeah,
Because there's been some there's been some
honeymoons down there.
controversy, yeah, about some honeymoons that where a husband died in the middle of the water. There's some lake down, I forget what city. I'd have to look at the city again. But yeah, there's been some controversy. Was it a murder or was it a cartel that wanted to protect their territory? I don't know. Yeah, yeah. That's where, like, look at Clinton, Arizona, where Pedro or Paco invaded Mexico, invaded the America in like 1917. There's a small group of bandits. He brought
Pancho Villa.
Pancho Villa. Yeah, that's the guy. He invaded Clinton, Arizona, and just there were soldiers. Apparently, there's American soldiers already waiting for him. They're protecting the city, so they had a big shootout. I walked around the city. I saw these buildings, and a lot of them are crumbling, but there are signs saying this is where a certain shootout happened, and some owner got shot here, and Pancho Villa stood on this one hill overlooking the battle, but he got ran back. He got pushed back, but he took out a few store owners on his conquest, and then had to retreat back to I think it's the mountains. There's Sinaloan Mountains, and American went after him, but couldn't find him, couldn't catch him, because he was able to hide in these mountains in Mexico, and these are mountains that are they're just rock. No vegetation could grow on them. It's too hot, and the soil wasn't good enough. And it's just these mountains, but you can hide in these Mexican mountains apparently.
They got tunnels.
They might have tunnels,
Yeah.
but I mean, even there's American gangs that have been able to hide out in the Rocky Mountains in Wyoming. Um, there's hideout in.
One gang used to would strand people in Utah just because they knew they couldn't survive in the Moab desert.
The desert. Okay, yeah. There's mountain passes that were, pretty. They're like the only way to get through certain areas, or you'd have to take a long way to get around, or yeah, stranded in the Moab, like maybe the salt desert. It's like, I guess it's salt, made of a lot of
Their
salt.
enemies, they used to kidnap them and strand them in the Moab desert
Oh, okay.
just because they knew they couldn't survive. You know, the gang,
Yeah.
the old
Yeah, there's different techniques. Yeah, I read there's South Dakota. There's a mountain that some Indians chased their rival group. Maybe 10 other Indians got stranded on this mountain, and they died. They just died because they ran out of water. And they couldn't come. They came down, they'd get slaughtered. So they just stayed on the mountain until they starved to death. And then apparently some had a sickness, and then when the other Indians interacted, they caught the sickness and they died as well. So I don't know. There's ways to be stranded, and that's wow. What a feeling is that? I get stranded in jail, and that's a horrible feeling.
if you're out in the middle of the desert and you get stranded,
Yeah, you got
you're out
nothing.
there in the middle of Death Valley or Moab.
Yeah. Yeah, caught in the middle of a desert.
Even West Texas, you get stranded out there, man.
Yeah, that's a terrible feeling. You don't have, because there's more resources here. I mean, you get caught in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
You have some resources, um, but yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages. So I don't know. How do you just have to adjust your survival techniques for the environment. Pretty much, it's the desert takes certain techniques that are different. And in the pioneer days, like our plumbers have sucked up most of the springs. Okay, so the springs don't run naturally in sources in nature. Like there's a I read a sign about in the desert. And, I forget the city. It's probably Arizona or something. But there's this trickle of water, and it's just it's through piping anyway. It's through piping, and they're saying this is now a display from when there was actually a natural spring that stood here. They now we have to use piping because it sucked all the pressure out. And it's in the pioneer days. Apparently, from under the impression there used to be a natural spring every 20 miles. You'd have roughly you'd find the pioneers would travel every 20 miles. They'd find a natural spring. They'd maybe set their course for that spring, and then they'd have their water. So I mean, it's easier. It was easier to live off the land when we had those natural springs.
Yeah.
But now plumbing has diverted all that, and it's a lot. I'm more dependent on the water fountain than I haven't really drank from a natural spring. The last time I drank from nature was more when it was a heavy rain in Washington, and I was like on the top of a hill, and then it was runoff, and I was able to just let some of that water get in my water bottle and drink that.
Yeah, because you don't want to drink out of just any
I don't
creek because of
I don't trust the water. But there's this weird plant around here that has a natural cup in the center at the stem. There's two leaves and then a strong stem, and it's a cup. It collects water. It's like a cup plant.
Yeah.
you practically drink from it. It grows around here. I've never seen it before. It doesn't grow in Wisconsin. I've never seen it anywhere else. But yeah, I noticed that. I took a couple of pictures of that just to point it out.
Back in the 60s, we used to drink right up in Colorado, right out of Rocky Mountain National Park. The mountain runoff, you could just drink right out of the creek.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about all this cryptosporidia or these parasites and stuff, you know. Like
Yeah, the mount. Yeah, you kind of take a chance, but yeah, there's concerns. I mean, I drink from natural source without boiling the water. I trust the water a little bit more when I can boil it, and I have done that out of a lake. I would do that, but yeah, I would trust a river over a lake. I would trust runoff over a river, and then I trust that over a lake. I trust a spring over all of that.
Yeah.
I was dumb enough to try to drink runoff off the roof of a Walmart straight. That was stupid. I did get a little sick off of that. That was when there was a big freeze 2 years ago, the second winter ago, and it affected Texas. They just the plumbing blew up, and
You couldn't buy water anywhere?
nope, no, I couldn't.
Walmart was closed too for a while, wasn't it?
None of the Walmarts I stopped at, but they ran out of the water, and they didn't have plumbing. Texas doesn't have to bury their pipes very deep normally, and they weren't ready for this big freeze that happened for a couple of days, and I was in Texas. Yeah, you got to boil that water. Boil even runoff off, even if it's a fresh snow. It was melting. and you know, I wanted water. I just got the runoff from the roof of the Walmart. But then somebody in comments, because I talked about it, somebody on video, and somebody in the comments said, well, birds poop up there. And that's probably why I felt a little sick afterward, to my stomach and my throat. If I boiled it, it probably would have been a different story. I know that for next time.
Yeah, I wonder about you sometimes. If you ever get stranded out there in the middle of it, don't you worry about your car breaking down?
Yeah,
Or
that's...
West Texas or something?
Yeah, it could break down, and that's when I'm most vulnerable to cops. That's when they want to get me moving more. If it breaks down, they want to give me tickets. They want to help me move my car. That's, you know, it's the worst situation to be in, mechanically, legally, and just, yeah. That's why I have my bicycle. That's why I need to get a better bicycle. I need that chain fixed. I need to either have, I need to order a bicycle chain tensioner and have it shipped somewhere.
Amazon.
Yeah, somewhere, like a figure. Yeah, I just, it's a lot of work to have things shipped, because I gotta anticipate where I'm going, and then anticipate who's gonna accept it. I get frustrated and I just don't do it, so I just hold off. I don't order a lot of things because of my problems with shipping. But either get a chain tensioner or just a new bike. I like this bike.
I just give you a bike.
You have you know, your tire size, like 26. I have, I got 29s, and I think if I were to get
Yeah, I
another
think this is 27.
27.
Yeah.
I like 29. I like bigger tires.
Yeah.
I was riding with those smaller tires, and then I switch over to this 29, and I'm like, okay, that's something I like about that bicycle, is going over bumps with a bigger tire is a little more, it's less jarring.
Yeah.
And I like that. So I'm gonna look into. I ordered that one through bikesdirect.com, I had to put it together. You get a little savings putting it together yourself.
Oh, you have the tools to put it together?
Well, no, you don't really need tools.
Oh.
Yeah, the star wrench thing or whatever.
Well, you got to torque to some of the...
There's and then you
yeah.
put your disc brakes. It's all easy to put together. There's a lot that's it's mostly easy to put together. It's but yeah, I put the chain on. I tightened the chain too tight, and I screwed it up. I messed it up because I thought the chain needed to be tight, really tighter than it was supposed to be. And you're supposed to be able to lift up the chain an inch. That's it. Just lift up the chain an inch. That's the type of leeway it was supposed to have. I didn't do that. I had it tight, so I was wearing away at the bearings early on and destroyed it. It was a stupid mistake, and I've been paying for that ever since. And man, I'm fed up. I just gotta either get rid of it or get a spring tensioner. I've had good experience. I owned a Surly chain tensioner in the past for a previous bicycle, and the chain never fell off. I had good experience, but I left that bicycle behind when I left Rice Lake, Wisconsin. I didn't have enough room in my car. I was carrying things that later I eventually threw away anyway. But I didn't know. The cops were giving me a hard time. It was the dead of winter. I was just trying to weigh, what do I need.
What made you want to go straight to Washington from
the weather?
Wisconsin?
The weather.
Was it still winter in Washington?
Yep. Okay, not the weather. The being on the Pacific Coast during that weather.
Oh.
I learned that even though it could get like 15 below in where I'm at, Rice Lake, Wisconsin, it'll only be like 40 on the coast.
Yeah.
I went straight west.
Instead of straight south.
And I was stripping off winter clothes. I was like, wow, it's getting nicer. I'm the same northern distance from the equator, but it's warming up. And I was able to toss away a lot of winter clothes that I was using. It is such a nice temperature difference.
Yeah.
And is comforting to know that I could relax in my car that far north. But yeah, there's there's a lot of rain. I had to deal with rain and mold, and yeah, being wet a lot from that rain. That was the trade-off. It was nicer weather, but it rained a lot more. So more fog and whatever. But yeah, I went straight west to that state. I kind of was thinking about sleeping on this. There's a rehab center. It was like a place where alcoholics would go to, like a camp. But they have a trailer to live in, and they would get better or whatever. I was like, I communicated with that person, and they said that anybody could sleep there, and I was like, okay, let me just set that as my destination. I'll sleep at this rehab place, pay what $20 a night. You probably do you have those type of place? Like it's a for people who want to get sober again, they'll sleep on a camp, like a camp or something for
Like a brothel, or not a brothel.
it's a sober camp maybe.
Not Iowa, because
No. Okay, yeah,
they used to have a men's YMCA. You used to be able to pay $5 a night there,
yeah,
but I paid by the week or month.
yeah. I just I really seriously considered that until I got there and looked at it, and then I didn't like what I saw. I even recorded it. I think there's if that channel if I put it on my current I lost the channel, and video could have been lost on that channel. But yeah, I checked that out. Didn't like it. I asked if I could sleep in my car on that property, and they said that'd be okay. And then I was thinking, well, okay, what about? I asked myself, like, well, why don't I just sleep in my car anywhere I want? You know, I was sleeping in my car in Rice Lake for a year in one spot until the cops started giving me a hard time, and then I had to move. And I realized at that point it's probably best to just jump around a lot.
Well, it can be gas, right? Gas is expensive to be just driving around.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't do it. I can't drive for the hell of it. That's for sure. I got to the point where I had like $300 in my account, and I was pretty scared. If I had any major issues where it cost a lot of money, I couldn't afford it. I was trying to conserve on how much I eat, and
You used to do a lot more food banks.
yeah, I was doing food. Then I realized, oh, I could do food banks. I was starving myself, and that was a time when I really didn't realize that food banks were a pretty good option. So yeah, I turned to food banks and experimented with the various foods. It's pretty risky. You could stand in a line for an hour.
A lot of pasta. Food banks.
Yeah.
I can't have pasta, but
Yeah, I can't eat canned food. I could do tomato paste without salt added, but and pears without salt, without sugar added. There's very little canned food I could handle. I don't want any salt added because whenever I have that extra salt, it makes it feel like I'm having a heart attack. It's just there's a pressure. So I need low salt diets. I do best with that. But yeah, I did food banks for a while. Some good, some great. Like food. It depends on they have relations. All these food banks have different relationships with the stores, the local stores and cities. Some cities will agree to hold the food that they were about to throw out and just give it to the food bank, and other cities don't agree to that. Other stores don't agree to that. I think it's because yeah.
you never had to go dumpster diving for food.
I've dumpster dived. Yeah. I mean.
I've been tempted to.
I don't dive in first and then look around second.
Pizza places after closing. Man.
Oh, I don't do no. I only do in grocery stores. Pizza places. Yeah, I've heard about that. You go behind a restaurant. I've never done the restaurants. Yeah, you can do that, I suppose. Yeah, the grocery stores is what I focused on, but it's very rare to find anything decent. Even today or not, just any day I'll peek in if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, we want to see more dumpster You know, even if you just look in, you don't have to
Just
take anything out. Just more.
oh, just say, hey, this doesn't have anything. Just even showing if it doesn't have anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's more than just it's more than just finding a score. You don't have to always show a score. You can just show a failure. You can show this doesn't have it, right? It's not something I go out of my way to do. I don't know. It's
No.
yeah, I could go behind Quick Trip and see what their dumpsters are like. I just yeah, I guess I've been getting lazy. I used to do book reviews, food banks, dumpster diving. Um, yeah, the abandoned houses thing. I guess I've been getting pretty lazy with my videos. I just kind of now that I'm living it up a little bit more,
Yeah.
I can afford this hotspot, 200 a month. I don't know for how much longer. I've been changing my lifestyle to the point where I
Now
avoid.
you're getting more people you can rely on, more viewers and subscribers. You can, if worse comes to worse, hell, you could just go to one of your subscribers and for a
Yeah,
couple days or something.
yeah, that makes me feel bad about other people too, because there was a guy who was bicycling, chucking all the garbage cans, reaching in. I recorded him too. He's on camera.
Oh, did you?
Let me see if I can find him. You think you might recognize him?
I don't know anybody.
Yeah. Oh, that was you. Yeah. Okay. And then
You
that's
didn't.
the
You're not gonna
cop.
put me on.
Let's see here. Oh no, that wasn't it. Can I just? Oh, that's the cop. Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah. This guy in that dumpster right there.
Oh, looking for pop cans. Yeah.
Yeah, he's grabbing the.
Yeah.
He
Pop
got it.
cans.
He found a can,
One can.
but it's so inactive around here. It doesn't even seem worth looking.
If you look for cans at car washes, man. If you drive by a car wash, you don't have to make a special trip. Just stop and look for cans.
Yeah, just go into the vacuums.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
better get going. So.
Yeah, I gotta stretch out my stomach. I'm like thinking I probably should lay down on a table or something.
Yeah, I'll email you my phone number or something.
Well, yeah, if you wanna try to make contact. Starts making comments about me watching him. Like I'm like my head is not. I'm not looking at you. And he was saying, well, you're watching me through your screen. He was, I was getting upset. I was like, what are you talking about? What's the big deal? I'm not doing that. And what's your problem? It was a weird accusation to have again that this Indian made on me, sitting in a library, and he was concerned about me watching him through the reflection on my computer, and that was in Washington. And I've had other interactions, like observations with Indians, being concerned about being watched. Like I walk in South Dakota, just walking in through a park, and this Indian lady was like watching me and like acting like I was like surveilling her. It was just a weird, and they're concerned about photography on their reservations, it, and I've been in a museum where there's no photography allowed of the Native American displays. They just there's something in different parts of the country. There's this theme that's really been coming together for me about about Native Americans and their concerns about being watched or photography or something there. It's really a strange like they want to maintain this secret. They don't want to be exposed by cameras or whatever. I don't know. There's something with that. I don't.
Oh, that's okay. I don't take my phone with me when I'm out bike riding because I don't want to lose it. But
Yeah, I keep a fanny pack, the largest fanny pack I can get that's most comfortable. And I always got to make sure that I have cameras and yeah, just recording equipment. I used to just only keep the camera in the pocket in this breast pocket. Um, a smaller camera, much smaller than these, smaller than this, even smaller than this. These those the iPod 5, smaller than even this camera. I could just tuck it behind my hand and just hold it, and it just barely shows. So most people aren't really, people are less likely to notice, as opposed to this camera, where it's this. I got it tucked. See, I would tuck the iPod like this, and just hold it like this, and the iPod barely sticks out from my fingers, and I still got it in my car. Just battery is terrible. But this stands out. It's obvious I'm recording. I kind of like the smaller camera, but I can't just whip out this because this is too obvious. You know, I'm recording, and with this, there's no other purpose for this camera. But this, it just kind of looks like maybe I'm using my phone. Maybe I'm just kind of checking it and there's talking, whatever. I like that idea, but I like it a little smaller, so it's not quite as visible. It looks like I'm, you know, if it's a smaller version, it looks like I'm using it, but not quite. And yeah, I think people have a lot of people have been confused whether I've been recording or not. You know, if there's been a lot of situations. If I whipped out this thing and just started recording, like a librarian giving me a hard time,
Yeah.
she would call into question this.
Yeah.
She would stop discussing whatever we were discussing. You know, oh, I can't be in this area. And
Cop hasn't caught on to just your phone.
cops can kind of catch on, but well, cops have to be more tolerant. But it's a little more obscure having a camera on a phone because they're not quite sure. You know, am I holding it? Am I recording? Am I just holding it in a weird way? Or, you know, it's a little more obscure since it's more multi-purpose.
With body cams, that's just been within the last year, ain't it? Cops and being required to wear body cams.
Yeah, in certain states, it's all, yeah, it's the...
They've really watched their behavior with those. Huh?
Yeah, the checks and balances type of thing. Yeah, there's...
I haven't had any experiences. Well, I had somebody following me one night here in town.
Yeah, you get paranoid about people...
I was walking downtown, I had two guys on each side of the street. I could have swore they were following me. It was about 11 or 12 at night. So I
Yeah.
called the non-emergency number of the cop, and I said,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
two guys are following me. And yeah, the cop was kind of nasty about it, and being
Yeah.
kind of nasty about it. She says,
On the phone.
"You
yeah.
sure you're not harassing them?" She was trying to turn it
Well, yeah.
toward me.
Yeah.
I've never met the people before.
Well,
now.
how did they look like they were following you?
They were both on, and I look back every now and then. And
They were separate?
originally, they were together, and
Okay.
then one went over to the other side of the road.
And then the other one the other stayed. And they
Yeah.
and how far did they follow you? A couple blocks or
It
something?
was about a half a block, and I just went into a store and called the non-emergency number.
Oh, okay.
I said, "Show up without your lights."
Okay.
Yeah, you want to remind them, show up without your lights, because don't want to chase them away.
Well, like they would be coming with their lights on, anyways.
Well, not their sirens, but a lot of
Well,
times
even
it's
the
just their
sirens.
lights.
Yeah,
Just-
and the lights and sirens. Like it's a traffic stop. It's an official traffic stop when they turn the lights on.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's why most cops that stop at my car, they don't have their lights on because it's not a traffic stop.
at night even.
But some at night even, yeah. They turn on their spotlights so they can see in my car easier. But yeah, some have been confused and turn their lights on. Like in Baxter, Kansas, I think. That one cop, he turned his lights on my parked car, like it was a traffic stop. It's that if they turn their lights on a parked car, they're confused about what they're doing. I think that's
Their spotlights.
if they turn their spotlights on, yeah, that's just a tool to use at night so they can see inside the car easier. And I appreciate that they do that because it's a warning for me. A lot of times, is that an electrical? I hear that.
Sound like a bug zapper.
That's it. Maybe there's a bug zapper. Okay.
Maybe they got one over there.
I've seen one. I think I've seen one over somewhere else. But yeah, the spotlight, the lights thing. The lights wake me up. All right, noise wakes me up too. I keep the back windows open so I can hear, even though I'm too deaf to drive a semi truck. I can hear and see. And when lights flash on my eyes, it wakes me up. Um, and I appreciate the sooner, and sometimes even just the motor wakes me up because the cop car motor, it makes a distinct sound. It's heavier. It's like they got the turbo. They got the turbo in it, so it's a unique sound for most of these cop cars, and that wakes me up sometimes. But yeah, they got the lights and all that, so there's different ways that they wake me up at night. Most times though, they catch me, right? They catch me just, they've already arrived at the car. I don't know what they've done. And I'm scrambling right in front of them. I'm scrambling to get my camera and turn it on, and they're watching me turn it on. And then I'm like, okay, now let's talk. I'd rather be ready to go, but I mean, with some video, that's why I like having a trail cam or something, a motion detection cam, somehow ready to capture them approaching my car would be nice. Just rely on the motion capture to record those seconds before they arrive.
Yeah.
But I've tried recording through the windows with my trail cam. Doesn't work. This trail cam needs to be outside of my car, and even then it's not perfect. But I've used two motion detections. I guess you could call them cheap motion detections through the car window, inside the car, just like pointed out to record, even up against the window. I try to use the motion detection to just try to capture anything that happens in front of the car, and I can't do it through a window.
Well, hang it out, paint it green, and hang it out in a tree.
No, but I mean, I'm not always parked next to trees. That's the thing. I'm looking for things I could do consistently, and like, yeah, maybe try to hang it on my bicycle. Because this is turning into a bit of a throwaway trail cam. I haven't used it in months. So it's just sitting in my car like dead weight. So it's kind of turning into a throwaway cam where I probably could get more experimental with it. I thought about trying to fit it in the rims of my tire at night, so it's kind of hidden. Yeah, there's not many, the car is just, you can't hide things on the car so much. So it's without it drawing attention to itself. I would like to make more use of it, but I've been real frustrated with that. And there's been opportunities where I've been caught sleeping, and it would have been nice to catch the cop on camera as they're approaching me.
Have a camera pointed at you to prove that you're not sleeping.
Let's have a sleep cam. Yeah,
my eyes are just closed.
Yeah.
How can they prove you're?
Well,
asleep?
I've never been ticketed for sleeping. There's never been that. That's been
What
the.
are you doing? But they always ask you the same. What are you doing, sleeping in your car?
Yeah, they'll ask that, but that's just an accusation. It's never turned into a ticket.
Oh.
It's never turned into an actual. They could throw those accusations out there. I'll just deny it, but I mean, it's not something I have to deny in court. Okay, we don't believe you. Here's your ticket. Tell the judge that. Whatever. No, that's nothing that they continue. Yeah, there's the curfew. There's just they trespass me, and if I don't leave, then they'll give me a ticket for that, maybe an arrest. But usually I'll leave. But what happens if my car breaks down? I'll deny. I won't answer any of their questions. Imagine I'm sitting in a broken down car. They come by at nights and tell me to get going, and I'll say I can't, and then what?
Well, the cop said you can prove you're sleeping.
let's say that my car's broken down, whatever. So sleeping issue is
Is
less.
it a vagrancy? Sleeping? Is it considered vagrancy or
sleeping in a park? It's just
trespassing if you're sleeping.
It's a curfew. They got the curfew law is a part of a trespassing issue. Just your presence, not what you're doing, but more your presence. I think it's your body is here when they don't want it to be here. It's not your eyelids are closed. I think your closed eyelids are less of a concern than your body being there, taking up that space and that in this importance property at when they've declared that you're not supposed to be there.
Curfew. I've never had to deal with that. But.
Yeah. You've as a kid, as I got older, I noticed more I noticed kids are getting more severe laws against them. You can't be out if you're 17 and under, you can't be out around the city from a certain hour to a certain hour.
Well, there was just a case in Des Moines. 2 guys, they pulled over 2 black guys because they said park closes at dark.
Dark.
And they pulled out, and the cops, and it was dark on the video, but they proved somehow in court that it wasn't dark. They broke curfew, and they pulled. The cop, they got him for discrimination or something.
Yeah, Des Moines. Yeah, Des Moines it might be a little bit more fair.
And they got and the guy's got a $10,000 settlement against the cop.
Yeah, the stories about people winning lawsuits is interesting. Like, you hear about some guys that win lawsuits, but they're in jail for something else. It's almost seems like a backhanded win. Say like a house burglar gets abused by the arresting cop. He wins the abuse lawsuit. He wins like $40,000, but he's still got to serve 2 years for his burglary charge. So he's sitting in jail with that winning, not being able to. Well, he's able to spend it on the canteen, I suppose. That's it. It's like a backhanded win. Because I mean, if you're arrested for burglary or whatever, they'll probably work a little harder to get that charge to stick if you win a lawsuit. So, yeah,
So I wrote a comment. No park after dark, or
for what?
The guys got. They said they were pulling out of the park just before dark, but it was dark on the video, and they got pulled over by a cop.
Yeah.
And I says, they're not picking. The cops aren't picking on them. It's strictly says no park after no after the curfew hour or
that's a
no
stupid
park after dark.
Sunset to sunrise.
So I put a comment. I said no park after dark.
Yeah, it's sunset to sunrise. It changes year round too. Look at this, getting dark at what 9 p.m. around here at this, and that's imagine it. So the sun, the part when it's dark at 9 p.m.
Well, they thought they were getting picked on because they got a taillight ticket.
Oh.
And they come to find out they were drinking in the car because they found a bottle in there too. So it wasn't unauthorized. The cops weren't just picking on them to pull them over or nothing because they were being surveillance. The cops were watching them somewhere in the park, probably drinking and stuff, and
yeah,
that's why they pulled them over. Once they left that park.
Well, I don't know. Did you read the police report? You probably didn't. I mean, it's hard to tell exactly what you're talking about. This is a news outlet that reported on the story.
No, it was a video.
Okay, it was just a kind of a. Did somebody do a commentary on it?
Yeah, it was kind of a video somebody threw together.
Junkyard News or somebody. They told you a little bit of
underage kids, 17, drinking. Cops can see you from anywhere. You don't know it.
Yeah.
They'll be watching from. People don't realize it.
I don't think. I wonder if cops carry binoculars too. That'd be interesting. I carry binoculars.
Do you?
Yeah, sit in your car and you can see a little bit better what's going on. But yeah, they were watching these kids, and yeah, somebody reported on this news and gave good background. It's like what happened. I mean, to get to the bottom of it, you'd want to see. Well, I'd have to see this news story. You watched the video, right? So I didn't see the video. I don't
Well,
know.
they said this officer had problems in the past. They think he was singling out minorities or whatever.
Yeah, this might be an anti-cop news source. So
Yeah.
so it's like
I was sticking up for the cop.
okay. Yeah, it's
In
hard
this
to tell.
situation, I was sticking up for the cop because them guys didn't have any business being in the park, especially underage, after dark.
Any business, yeah. When it's dark.
After under 18, after dark.
Yeah.
They're just looking for trouble.
Oh, in a dark park. Okay.
Park
Yeah.
in the car, but
It's frustrating to deal with curfews myself. I mean, I don't.
well, I mean, you're not drinking, you're not
Well,
underage, and
drinking? Were they drinking though? I don't know. I mean, this is just what I'm being told.
well, every time a cop comes up, it smells like marijuana in here. Have you had that yet?
Smells like marijuana? I've never. No.
I haven't either, but a lot of these videos are the cops are coming up. It smells like marijuana in here.
I say, what was this park before? I mean, it's just a piece of land, right? And,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they built it up, so now we have to respect what they wish to be done with this built up property. I wouldn't come here if it wasn't built up, right? If there's no way to pull into where I pulled with my car, I probably wouldn't have come here. It's like you're at the mercy of what the property managers want.
I found out parking down by a river, any river, they'll leave you alone.
River?
If there's a little parking area next to a river.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it's. I haven't had any. I don't recall any problems with rivers.
I don't know what it is. I wouldn't want to stay down there live down by the river or anything.
Well, no, there's the Mississippi River. The tourist areas, I never tried to sleep in them. I'm not sure. I think cops might have given me a hard time, but yeah, I never.
Just say you're down there. My buddy's over there. I'm sleeping in the passenger side. My buddy's fishing somewhere.
Yeah.
And you don't know when he's going to be done.
Oh, another excuse. I don't like them. I wouldn't use them. I'm waiting for my driver. I did use an excuse one time. A guy gave me to tell this black security officer in north part of Washington on the Pacific Coast.
If I'm tired enough and I can't find a place to park, I'm going to use that excuse.
Yeah, whatever excuse is going to make the cop go away. I told the security officer I'm waiting for a boat. I was in a dock and there's a security guy who came up to me and he's like, "What are you doing here this late?" And I'm like, "I'm waiting for a boat." And that was it. He's like, "Okay," and walked off. That was it.
Yeah.
And I was told to say that excuse by someone, just trying to be helpful. He knew that the cop was aggressive, so he gave me an excuse. I was like, whatever. Okay, thanks for the heads up. And I actually needed to say it. I needed to use it. I'm waiting for a boat. So that was something that worked. But that was parking at a marina, a boat dock area. I generally, my car was there. I think I was called out because of my car too. I was parking there during the daytime, and then sleeping in the library parking lot at night. Wi-Fi all night. That was pretty nice. And just yeah.
Yeah, there's all night Wi-Fi at this library.
I don't think I want to park there at night though. It seems kind of sketchy. I haven't really looked around though. But
that's one good thing about it.
I didn't really like what I saw for parking there long term. There was 3-hour parking on one side. And
it's a one-way street. Nobody uses it.
Was it? Well,
I got a ticket when I first week I lived here. I went because no cars were coming down it. There was no cars parked on the sides, so I was going to do a U-E, and I pulled out to a one-way street.
Yeah.
Well, I got a warning, but I didn't have my seatbelt on.
The cop caught you?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was at the corner.
He saw you. All right. I've gotten in them. I almost turned down a one-way, and luckily there's no cop. But wow, I mean, I think, what if there's a cop watching me? I would have gotten pulled over.
There was nobody on that. Most one-way streets, there's at least one or two cars.
You have one-way streets in this city.
Oh yeah.
So
they
yeah.
go clear out to
Yeah.
almost out to the city limits.
City. Okay.
So you got to be careful.
That's when it goes through neighborhoods.
Yeah.
That can be confusing.
That's what confuses. Because I've seen a couple other people going the wrong way too on that.
Yeah. Yeah. They should just stay within the business districts, and not.
I think it's a trap just to get tickets on people in this town. Because
maybe they anticipated more activity in a certain traffic pattern way, and I don't know what industries you got downtown.
that's the only time. And I drove a truck for 20 years. I never got caught, or never went down the wrong way on a one-way until I moved to this town. You know, in a car.
Oh, there's some difficult roads around.
It's not. But otherwise, yeah. I mean, the cops ain't gonna pick on you, but he could have given me a ticket for going down a one-way, but he gave me a warning.
I could have took a nap for an hour waiting on the train. I could have slept right on the road, pretty much waiting for that train.
That's a big rail yard down there.
So yeah, the cops have a different type of enforcements to work with, different types of activity to work with. Unlike say the Colorado, the Rocky Mountains, they got bears. People call in bears digging through their trash. Imagine being a cop having to respond to a call like that. What do you do?
A mountain lion. Peeping through my window.
That's people record. Yeah, I've seen videos of that.
Yeah, mountain lions.
They got their cats right there acting tough, staring back at the mountain lion.
Yeah.
Or a family of mountain lions come to visit your house.
The mountain lion's just chill, and man, he just plops like nothing. He's not scared or nothing. He'll just plop right down next to the window.
Yeah, it's amazing how brave animals get through your windows. They have like a sixth sense or fifth sense, sixth sense, that they use because they could see you, and maybe they can't, maybe because they can't hear you, but animals can approach you a lot closer when you're on the other side of a window.
Yeah.
There's some kind of they have a disconnect. I mean, you can't.
They can't smell you.
It's a smell, and they can't hear you. They could kind of see you. Some they just have an extra. Yeah,
They're gonna smell you before they see you.
They can't. Yeah, it's a smell issue. Yeah, that too. Yeah, if they can't smell you, but they can see you. It's just you shut down. You're blocking off some senses there.
Yeah.
So they're comfortable approaching you through your window. Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's
picking up out here now. It's cooling down.
Is it? Yeah, it's 5.
Get you a little grill and you can cook out. Huh?
Well, I do have an electric kettle heater thingy. I cook in my car. I made coffee this morning.
Get you one, the pocket rocket stoves.
Okay, yeah, I have to cook some eggs.
Oh, dude.
They've been sitting in my car the whole time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I should probably be doing that.
At least they'll be half cooked.
Yeah, just kill that salmonella off.
It won't spoil them, but they'll be half cooked.
They should probably be good, but yeah, I just realized I should be boiling them damn eggs.
Well, hey, nice meeting you, man. I'll leave a comment.
Okay, yeah. Well, just talk later somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get to cooking my eggs.
Well, good luck. Don't get discouraged. We're all backing you up.
Yeah, this is discouraging. I'll tell you that.